then the guy playing Harbo looks really familiar. I feel like I've seen him in something before, UNLV related. But when I find out their names, they said their names, but I'm really bad with names the first time. I always forget it the first time.
It's hard too, because in a sense you're always trying to remember it, but then it's that you see them and you're trying to remember the name, and then the rest of the day you're with them. I'm just like, oh man, I can't remember the name.
I know, like the first time, I've developed like a really bad habit within like the last year where like I ask someone their name and I don't remember it the first time.
You got to say it out loud.
Like, yeah, I need to like say it like 3 or 4 times to myself because they say it and then it's like I thought about something else like when they were telling me their name.
Yeah, there's a similar dilemma with all that shit with names.
So.
That's because it seems like people like don't forget my name. It's like, oh, Norby, that's the weird, like the super fucking weird one.
It pops out, you know.
Yeah. All right, but it's live.
What's going on, film
Yeah.
fans?
It is live. Okay, so this is episode 26 of Screen Time. I'm pretty sure it's 26. I put 26 up. Oh, Brandon's in the chat. Says,
Brandon,
yo.
what's
What
up, Brandon?
How's
How
it
you
hanging,
doing,
bro?
Dude? How you doing, Brandon?
So this episode we watched heavy metal, Crumb, and Cache. Kate said it's pronounced Cash.
I don't know French.
I mean, you took French, didn't you?
I did. We didn't learn that word.
I always thought it was cachet. So
That's what I said.
It has
Cachet.
the accent.
Cachet. Or just hidden.
He said, Brandon said, ahoy, ahoy. I watched 2 movies I found interesting, The Lighthouse and Little Big Man. The Lighthouse is cool.
The Lighthouse is...
What's Little Big Man? That sounds familiar.
Oh, Dustin Hoffman? With Dustin Hoffman, Brandon? Where he's an Indian? It might be that movie. My dad used to talk about that movie.
Oh, yeah?
My dad watched that movie in high school. Is it the movie?
Yep, that's it.
Nice.
Yep, that's it.
That's a cool movie, isn't it, Brandon? Or
That's a cool movie.
Is it a cool movie?
It was funny and wild, he says.
Wow. Okay. I want to check that movie out.
Do we want to do like a would we watch segment? What did we watch this week?
Yeah, we can do a brief one.
I'll go. I'll go real quick. I did this is a little bit ago now. I forgot to bring it up last time, but I watched Schizopolis.
Oh yeah.
I did watch Schizopolis. Yeah, that was
It was awesome.
The movie's pretty fucking sick. It wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, but like it gave me something totally different than but I still like enjoyed it. You know. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with that movie.
We got to do it for the podcast.
Yeah, I need to watch. I want to watch the commentary too. Like
the
super
commentary
bad.
it's hilarious.
I heard it's like a really solid commentary for a movie.
If you need my Criterion password or whatever, because it's on there, it's pretty funny.
Oh wait, Brandon said he said, and then The Lighthouse is just a straight mind fuck. Or Lamau, and he said, "Oh yeah, I watched it after you guys talked about it. Schizopolis is special, Lamau."
I want to see Schizopolis.
Yeah, you should see Schizopolis. Yeah,
it looks cool. You guys praise it a lot.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
I thought I guess I'll wait till Elijah watches it before talk about like everything.
I'll try to watch it.
Thoughts and everything about it. But yeah,
watch Jackass Forever.
Me too.
How was that?
It was you go ahead, Anthony. You watch it first.
I got to see it in the IMAX theater, so that was really fun. It was huge, and loud, which was cool. But Norby and I talked about this, but for me, it's just like they're old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess there's a half is like the original people, and there's the other half is like new people, and I didn't really like the new people as much. But it was fun. It was still a good time.
Okay.
Love Jackass.
Yeah, I agree. It's like there's definitely like some really good moments in it. Like they have some really clever ideas in it and stuff. Like it feels like a Jackass movie. But as Anthony said, like something about the new cast, I just didn't like. It doesn't feel quite right.
They're not like fully fledged characters.
No.
Like they're all just like. They all seem like new. It's just like...
So, like, in the original Jackass, like, how many memorable characters are there?
How many what?
How many memorable characters are there from, the original Jackass?
I mean,
everyone's, like, their own person.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, to say in, like, this... in Forever, like, the new ones, they're all... I don't know. There's, like... I mean, they are different. Like, there's a fat one. There's a girl. You know, there's stuff like that. But I don't know. It's...
What's like supposed to be special? Like, why'd they get new people? Just because like the other ones...
They're too old.
They're too old to be
doing
they're too old.
They're way too old.
I heard like I feel like this isn't a spoiler. Like Johnny Knoxville almost died or something.
I mean, what's new?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's like what happens all the time, kind of.
I mean, I felt the worst about like Johnny Knoxville. I mean, is it okay if we spoil? Do you care about like?
No, I want to see it at some point, but I'm curious. I'm curious about what happens.
For CJ, right now we're talking about just stuff we watched this week before we get into the movies. So if you have anything else you watch, you can put it in. I don't give a shit. Oh, he doesn't give a shit about spoilers. What'd you say about spoilers?
I don't care about Jackass spoilers.
Oh, okay.
I want to see it. But
because Johnny Knoxville's pretty well known for doing like the bull stunts. Like he did a lot of bull stunts in
Since
like other
the
Jackass
first
movies.
movie.
So is it like okay? What's like an example of some of the bull stunts he did like in the first few?
There's one where they're like on like this, I don't know what the fuck you call it, like a seesaw type of thing, and they're going like up and down. There's like a 4-way seesaw, and everybody like so there's 4 of them on each end like bouncing up and down, you know, and a bull is like coming and like trying to hit them off of it, and I saw an interview with him recently where it says like bulls are great, like fantastic actors, like they're always ready to go and they fucking hate you. So like bulls are just constantly trying to fuck him over. And in like all the bull stunts I've seen Johnny Knoxville do, like he sticks out to the end. Like in that seesaw one, everybody else like they just fucking leave. Everybody else hates bulls, but Johnny Knoxville like try to win the game and stay on the seesaw as long as possible, even though he's getting like not impaled, but like it looks like sometimes he gets impaled by like a bull or some shit. It's just like super fucked up. But he did a lot of. I mean, he's done like probably the most stunts for Jackass when he was younger, like on the TV show. He did like some pretty scary ones in the movies. But now that he's like so old, like he only did like 2 stunts in the whole like
Really?
Jackass Forever, for real. Yeah,
Oh.
he did one bull one, and the bull comes out and hits him, and
He does like a double backflip.
yeah.
What
He
the
does a
fuck?
double backflip and lands, and instantly just out. He's out for like it's like a solid minute. And in the credits they show like him getting hit by a bull like almost exactly the same way when he was younger, but and when he was younger he gets up instantly and like is able to like continue the stunt. But in the new one he's just like the stunt was just over because he's so old.
Oh. Is there ever a plot in the Jackass movies? Like, is there ever like a goal they're trying to?
Not really.
It's not like
Like, wasn't there? That was something in like the Impractical Jokers movie.
yeah, and like Bad Grandpa, where there's like a bit of a narrative that's stitched together by the different stunts.
Yeah.
But in the Jackass movies, it's never really like that. Beyond like the one skit, there's some sort of story thing. But no, it's more just like a compilation of.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's there's never really.
What was your favorite?
Kinda have, the favorite stunt. Definitely. Oh fuck, the first one or the last one are the most memorable.
Yeah.
The way the movie begins is like a lot more cinematic than like most of the other Jackass movies, where it's something like a city. What's up, Johnny?
How was it?
Oh, the Jackass movie? You were there.
No, not the Jackass movie. The movie that you guys just
Oh,
Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal. Well, we'll talk about it in a moment. Are you gonna chill with us on this one?
Maybe, I don't know. I watched like part of it.
Yeah, you did watch part of it. Fuck, I don't think this mic's like hooked up right now. But the way the movie opens is with, like in a city, and like the city starts getting destroyed, and they don't show the monster, and then the big reveal for the monster, like they really hype it up for like 2 minutes, and the big reveal is like this like weird abomination. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like it's like this blobby
It's
monster, wrinkly, yeah, green. It looks like kind of like a dragon, kind of, but like also like the blob. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then I'm like, it kind of hit me before they reveal it, like really reveal what it was. I'm like, no fucking way, that can't be a penis. And they reveal it, and it's like legit Chris Pontius with his penis like painted green and like with little arms like attached to it and shit.
Yeah.
There's
I feel like there was a lot more dicks in the new one.
yeah, than the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't get like an X rating.
Yeah.
Are there? How many Jackass movies are there?
4. But then there's like the .5s, but I don't really know if they're any
Is
different.
The .5s are kind of like just like all the extra footage. they
There's
had.
like Jackass 1 and 2. There's like a
Mhm.
3D Jackass,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay, and then this one.
Brandon said Lowell Steve was a shit poster, and CJ said, yeah, Bad Grandpa had a plot. It did. Bad Grandpa was pretty good.
Really?
It's
Okay.
like of the hidden like prank movies. It's pretty. I enjoyed it a lot.
Is Johnny Knoxville the grandpa?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah.
Did you like Jackass Forever?
Jackass Forever. Yeah, I thought it was really funny. I did like some of the new crew. I thought they were pretty cool.
Who did you like of the new crew?
I like that one really fat guy that they got. So they had the original fat guy that they have had for like the entire series. Yeah,
Preston.
and then they got this new fat guy with like a bunch of like tattoos and shit all over his body.
He's got the new guy Zach, the new fat guy. He's got a tattoo above his ass that says "I love fat cock."
Oh yeah.
It's like what the fuck. Yeah, I think he was definitely like one of the more entertaining new ones. Him and like Poopies felt like a little bit more jackassy, but like they also had like a woman who was a new Jack, which is like not really. They never did that, right? Like you can't really go all out on like a woman for Jackass.
It was interesting too, because then there's a part where like they had to ask for her consent so he can remove the scorpion from her bra or whatever. So.
Oh yeah, that stunt. They get like a scorpion. And it's like here's a scorpion lip injection. So it stings you like 5 times on the face. Oh. I like the. Wow, there's one. Oh, this. There's one where they get like 2 like plates of plexiglass, and they Chris Pontius puts his penis in between the plexiglass, and they put screws around the edges.
Oh,
and the nuts. No, and then they tighten it. And they tighten it so much, it's like literally like as thin as like a pancake.
And you see this?
Yeah, you see it. And I'm like, there's no way. Like they show it, and they show it through the plexiglass. You can see the penis, and it's like flat as fuck. But it's like you see it's attached to where the penis would be. I'm like, damn, dude, they didn't fake that shit. That's like. And then they get a ball with a string on the plexiglass, and they played paddle ball with it. Like, what the fuck?
Like, do the other, I guess, actors always respond comedically to the stunts that the other people are doing, or are there like sometimes
it's always like a group thing where everyone else is laughing at the one guy who has to do his stunt for the day.
Is it ever like someone like looks like they're in pain and people don't laugh? Or they're always like...
once in a while.
I mean, yeah, like when Johnny Knoxville got knocked out from the
They
bull,
thought he like died or something.
It was quiet for like a second.
Yeah.
Have you guys smoked up yet?
No,
You smoked up yet? But I still enjoyed it. But that being said, like, I really enjoyed the original Jackass like a lot more. There was just like a certain energy behind everybody in it, and the new guys, they just don't feel like. They didn't feel like they earned Jackass, you know. Like Johnny Knoxville was like he came to LA when he was 18, trying to be an actor, and so like he was like writing like articles for like skateboarding magazines and stuff, and like just trying to like get something going with himself, you know, just try to get his face out there, and trying to like put some together. And like everybody else who became a part of Jackass was trying to do the same thing, and so it just was like this perfect storm of all these like crazy fucking people who do like any sort of stunt to make it happen. Whereas like the new people are just kind of like they just kind of like new people or something like that. I don't know how they got in, but. I know the one guy, Poopies, Steve put him on his YouTube channel. I just felt, I was like, he's kind of annoying. He's kind of annoying, his personality. But and you can also tell they're trying to like impress, you know, whereas like everybody else is just being themselves.
Is Johnny Knoxville a skateboarder?
No.
No.
I mean, they all skate, but they're not like skateboarders.
No. Okay. But like the people who, like Bam was like legit like a pro skateboarder.
He got fired from part 4 though.
He did, yeah. So Bam was in like all the other Jackass movies and was like best friends with Ryan Dunn, who died. I forget what year, but sometime after the third Jackass
like
movie.
2013.
Was he like one of the original guys?
Yeah.
What happened to him?
He got in a car accident, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then that's I think that's part of the reason why they didn't want to make another Jackass movie.
Yeah,
like,
after
it took a whole decade.
After Jackass Part 3, they never all got together ever again until this one.
But yeah, Bam, he's I don't know, he's just been like abusing drugs hardcore and being just like like an asshole. I mean, they're all kind of assholes when they were younger, but like
I saw this video though
so.
of him from like last month, like on his phone talking about like I don't know, it was weird because like he looks old, like he looks like beat, and then he was like crying and then he started gagging because he wasn't in the movie and all this, but it was embarrassing, really.
Yeah, Johnny showed me this one video that it's got a voiceover of Bam talking about his life right now, and he's like, yeah, I go to the bar and I get fucked up and I talk to fucking nobodies all day. Just stupid shit like that.
Did Spike Jonze help direct it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does some like I'm pretty sure he like in
He
the
did
opening
the beginning part, yeah.
when you can hear his voice like he's directing Chris
Mhm.
Pontius's dick.
Mhm. Yeah.
Does he do any stunts?
Yeah, he plays like the bad grandma, like the
Does he really?
Yeah, he plays the wife character with like the saggy
Oh.
titties.
Okay.
It's funny going back and watching old like Jackass clips, like knowing who Spike Jonze is, and like
Yeah.
seeing him just pop up and like, oh fuck, that's the fucking guy.
Because you can always hear his like squeaky voice. Like
Yeah.
I watched Red Rocket last weekend.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
already
yeah.
told you guys
Yeah.
before the podcast out there. Great film, shot on 16 millimeter. I think maybe if you could call the Florida Project a departure from maybe his normal sort of tone or style. Not to say that it's not a Sean Baker movie, but I guess I would compare Red Rocket more to like Tangerine. Or I also watched Starlet, another Sean Baker movie.
Oh shit.
This week. And they're all pretty good. He's a pretty good filmmaker, indie, and that's cool to see in independent films, I guess.
Starlet's from like mid 2000s.
It's like 2009, I think.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Okay.
What's that one about?
It's about a girl who's a porn actress who befriends an old lady, and then it's just more about their budding friendship. But it's pretty good.
It sounds like it goes pretty hand in hand with Red Rocket.
Yeah, it's interesting too. There's certain characters or certain actors that are in. It's a pleasant surprise. So if you guys
Gotcha.
check it out. But there's certain actors from other movies, specifically Tangerine,
Mm.
in both Starlet and Red Rocket.
Oh shit. Okay. Be
I
cool.
was telling someone at work today about Ken Park.
Oh, what'd you tell him?
I told him about the scene.
Which there's a lot of scenes in Ken Park.
Well,
The tennis?
the Tangerine scene.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He didn't say anything.
How did it come up in conversation though?
Someone was making like a weird sex joke, so I'm like, I got him.
What the fuck?
Let me check my watches.
I sent it to the group chat, but
Hmm.
I was at Zia a few weeks ago,
Uh-huh.
and I saw
Yeah,
kids.
Oh yeah,
So I
I
picked
remember
up
that.
Kids.
Did you? Oh, you bought that?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
good.
it was like $15, and it was used,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a little overpriced. But I remember like we tried looking it up online, and like on Amazon it's like $50.
Oh, okay.
So it's like
Gotcha.
might as well get it.
Yeah.
Good movie to have on DVD. The special feature, there's no special features really, but
It's like a super basic DVD.
kind of, but it's also like themed around. It's not just like silent main menu type of thing. Like there's music going and it's colorful and stuff. Pretty
Okay.
cool. They have the trailer for Kids on there. Have you seen the trailer for Kids?
Yeah.
It's good. It's a fun trailer. Check it out sometime.
That's how I first heard about Kids. Like way back in the day, I saw the trailer for it when like mid '90s was coming out. It was in like the suggested videos. I'm like, that looks like a cool movie, and then I didn't watch it till like 2 or 3 years later.
It's just like a really quick like montage with like I think it's the song they use for the opening credits.
Okay.
It's just really fast. You don't really get anything about the story in it.
No.
But it makes you want to like curious about what this thing is.
I watched.
Oh, good.
I watched this documentary the other day. It's about these Samoans and Hawaiians that lived in like Long Beach and like East LA in like the early 1990s, and so like they're all like ganged out, like they're like and all that. They're rapping and all this stuff, but then it cuts back to like them on the island, and very interesting documentary. It's from this French filmmaker. I haven't seen any of his other stuff, but I might check it out. But it's called My Crazy Life.
My
Crazy with the
life.
S. And then, yeah.
Was it good? Did you recommend?
Yeah, definitely
Okay, for
recommend.
sure.
It's really cool.
My crazy life. Crazy life. Do you guys want to talk about the gas station short, or do you want to talk? Anthony and I talked about it yesterday, but you can talk about
Be
it.
prepared, listeners out there.
Okay. We just finished shooting for this short project that we've been wanting to make for a while.
Mhm.
We tried to shoot it in November and ran into just like basically like scheduling complications. So we got together and we shot it last week, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I thought it went pretty well.
Yeah,
we still need to
it
see the
went
footage,
swimmingly.
but
We're gonna see it tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. But lots of interesting things happened. Things that you couldn't have really,
Written.
yeah,
Or
you
even
can't-
pulled off, really.
It would have been incredibly difficult to get these. If what happened were scripted, it wouldn't have the same natural flow to
Right,
it.
yeah.
You know. I don't know how much.
It's stuff. The stuff that did happen does feel sort of scripted, though.
It does,
It's
you know.
very, very funny.
I want to talk about it.
We gotta
could-
do a commentary.
Yeah.
Once
We could.
editing
It'd be
it.
funny if we just like live streamed editing it.
That'd be
That'd
fun.
be pretty cool. That'd
Yeah.
be pretty cool.
But yeah, that was a fun ass
Yeah.
experience. I think especially doing it in public like that, where it's like there is that. I don't know. It did feel kind of like we really were trying to fight to get some like footage almost. You know?
It was definitely nerve wracking at
Yeah.
times. I don't know how you guys felt about some of that, but there were times where I'm like, yeah.
I mean, when the cops pulled into the gas station
Oh,
and they got out and they
gosh.
were just looking at the group. They were, we just finished shooting at one of the gas stations and we were like trying to reset. And Elijah and Johnny were kind of still.
We're in the gas station.
So, I think I said this yesterday, but we sent Johnny in a wheelchair. Who's like he's that guy right over there wearing that exact hat, security guard hat, in a wheelchair, because he used to be a salesman. Like he's like, just go in there and distract these fucking guys, and we'd have somebody go in and wheel them around. And so we just finished shooting, and Johnny and Elijah were walking out, but like cops show up, and we're like all grouped around the front of the gas station with fucking cameras and shit. And they just got out and they're just looking at us the whole time they were pumping gas. I remember that's when I walked over to you. I'm like, we're gonna fucking like head over to the next gas station. now.
Yeah. That was kind of because we pissed off the clerk. We were in
Right.
there and we'd like when we walked in there, the dude's eyes were on us the whole time, and then I inadvertently almost like fucked up his microwave. I wasn't trying to fuck up his microwave, but I don't know if Johnny, do you think like the microwave would have got fucked up if I didn't put a napkin over the burrito? I don't think it would have.
No, I did. I fucking.
Put a napkin under the burrito.
Did he say put
Okay.
a napkin over or under? Probably
He
under.
saw me put the burrito in, and then he like comes over. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Except he like wasn't that loud, but
Yeah.
He'll use that loud. He was like, "Oh my, what the fuck is the matter with you?"
Yeah, what the fuck?
That's 'cause you put a bare burrito in a public microwave. It's like gross. There's germs and shit.
yeah.
So I'm like, what the fuck is the matter? So you probably disgusting. You probably thought you were like absolutely repulsive.
Yeah, we distracted him.
Yeah, that was probably
That was probably the best one
the
where
best
we like.
distraction. Yeah.
And then the first 7-Eleven we went into, the one on Valley View. I think we had him watching us. at
Bro,
that
you
time.
guys were pretending to be like a gay couple when you went in the first
Yeah.
gas station.
Yeah.
Dude.
That was fun.
You named Johnny Denny, right?
Denny.
How's the voice you're doing?
You're
You're doing like some ridiculous
yeah,
nasally ass voice.
All right, Denny. Something like that.
It was like really traumatizing.
I'm so sorry.
Johnny, I was telling Johnny, I was like, what was it like? He's like, we went in the gas station and Elijah's acting so fucking weird, dude. He's like, so there's one part where Johnny got a slushie and they went to go purchase it at the cash register, and what was the thing with the straw?
He needed a straw.
He needed a
So
straw.
I went to go. So I went to go grab him a straw, and we're like right in front of the clerk still, and I think he wanted to spill the slushy, and in hindsight, I'm kind of glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I think they would have got mad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think the dude saw me recording Johnny, because I bent down to like pretend to look at the frozen food, but I was like recording Johnny on your phone.
Yeah.
But you know how there's those mirrors,
Oh yeah.
and when I stood up, he was like death staring me.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
like, he probably saw me. So
fucking weirdo.
I'm glad. I think also too the audio went out on this side.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Yours is also connected to like a longer cord, an extension
Okay.
cord, so that could be part of it.
But there it is.
Okay, cool.
Oh, so he needed a straw, and I went to go grab him a straw, and then like, I think I pulled down his mask and then just stuck the straw in his mouth.
Johnny said you came over and did that, and the clerk just started fucking laughing.
Yeah. Sorry, Johnny.
Dude, I was just imagining being a clerk like that, dude. I don't know.
And then
Somebody wanted to fight you guys.
I'd be fucking dead.
Do you guys want to hear some of the audio? It got funny.
You got
at one
audio?
part. Yeah.
Audio of which part?
So I was trying to push him out of the gas station, but the wheels would get stuck on like the little incline.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can find it real fast. Okay. There's one part that's funny. I don't know. Okay.
Try.
I'm sorry.
You're all
I can't
good,
find
you're
it
all
right
good,
now.
you're all good.
But it was kind of funny. I was like trying to push him out, and he got stuck. And they only had one door open, so we had to fit him through like the one door.
Yeah. I got footage of you guys doing that.
Yeah, and I was like saying some shit about burritos, and it was funny.
You've been eating too many burritos, Denny.
Yeah. It was fun going in there with Johnny to distract the clerk.
That
though.
part looked like fun. Yeah.
Even in the Circle K one,
Mhm.
it was pretty cool. But yeah, we shot over the course of like 3 days.
Mhm.
3 days. Probably, how many hours do you think we were on set?
Like 3 the first night, like 3.5 the first night.
Probably like between like 9 to 11
Yeah,
hours.
9 in a week. Pretty
Mhm.
cool. Pretty cool. It was fun being on set too.
Yeah, that was like
Like when it ended, it felt good because like we'd completed the project, sort of. We completed that aspect of the project.
the production.
Yeah. And then, but it was also like we don't get to do it again, so it was a little sad. It was also really cool. I was talking to Elwood about this. Just, I don't know, shooting at Clark and having that be like the last day we do production there on a Friday. That was just like, I don't know. You went to high school there and hadn't been there in a minute,
Mhm.
so it was cool to kind of do that.
Yeah.
There, and that was really fun. We met Cheeto.
Cheeto, yeah.
Hopefully
Oh,
Cheeto's
God.
watching.
Dude, fucking Kate was like, you guys look like fucking pedophiles talking to a little ass kid over there.
They were following us, kind
They
of.
were following us. They were fucking. Oh man, they were funny. There was a bunch of kids. I don't know if I said this yesterday, but there's a bunch of kids who were roasting John and Joseph, who were the two people we put in front of the gas station, asked for cigarettes, and they were the ones we were recording. And these kids show up, and they just started fucking like roasting the fuck out of John and Joseph. From like what I can kind of hear from like the distance I was at, it seemed like John and Joseph like didn't know how to react to these kids like talking smack. And then they came out of the gas station like 10 minutes later, and like, what are you recording? What are you recording? And he's like, oh, he's not saying nothing, dude. He's fucking weird. Like, look, he's recording. I'm like, bro, I'll tell you in a second. And so I'm like recording, and then I finish, and like pretty much everything's done. John and Joseph are moved out, and everything like that. And they're like, do you guys have a YouTube channel? I'm like, yeah. Do you want to see it? He's like, yeah. And he gives me his phone. I'm like, oh, cool. You got dark mode on your phone. He's like, is that cool? And I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. And yeah, it's real cool. He's like, oh, okay, for sure. And then I'm like, do you want to be on my podcast? Like, jokingly. He's like, yeah, I want to be on your podcast. I don't know how old he is. He looked like he's like in the 5th grade or some shit. And then I show him the YouTube channel. He's like, oh, I'm going to watch all these videos. I'm going to watch them all. I'm like, all right, thanks, man. And then Elijah and me were like, what's your name? He's like, Cheeto. And like me, Elwood, and Elijah were like, Cheeto.
That was great.
Yeah, it was fun. He was a funny ass kid.
What'd you think, Anthony?
No, that was fun. It's just it's cool too to, in a sense, have like the next couple months sort of lined out in terms of things to be working on.
Yeah.
it's there's a direction and all that. So once we
Mhm.
finish this, go on to the next and the next and the next. By May, we'll have so many things in the can,
Yeah.
and we'll be fresh for the summer. You
Yeah.
know, to work on maybe something bigger or
Mhm.
whatnot.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like feeling like there's a fucking snowball, you know.
There's
Like,
it's
letting momentum
very
build.
cool.
I feel like even like the projects we worked on before, like What Is a Bug and like GOG for Lucifer and what else did we work on?
Yandi.
Yandi, yeah.
Kareem
Cream
stuff.
stuff, like just all that stuff is like, especially the stuff we had to make really quick. Like
What is a bug was pretty quick.
What Is a Bug and GOG for Lucifer. Like GOG for Lucifer was literally just one day.
That was like one night.
Except like I got some of the inserts on some other days, and then What Is a Bug was like 2 or 3 nights.
There was the one night at my house, then we were at your the office for one night.
Yeah.
And
Then
then
the
there's the
inserts and
bug
stuff.
night.
The bug night, yeah, that one was fucked up. So Elijah, oh man, so that's like part of the reason why I want to think What Is a Bug is like to show like killing bugs on camera, because it's like that's like the moral, like there's a moral ambiguity there. It's like you're taking
Yeah.
life on camera, but it's like it's bugs, and like everybody like kills bugs like every once in a while, unless you're
I definitely
Like
have thought
exterminate.
about that. I've definitely thought about that since we did it.
Mhm.
Because I remember doing it didn't necessarily feel good. It was
Yeah.
kind of like it was like a little bit of awkward laughter where it's like it was kind of funny, but it was also like this is like kind of
This is,
fucked.
like,
we were
super
like we were like torturing the bugs, you
Yeah.
know. But then
it was for a horror
I don't
short
know.
too.
There's definitely
For
people in the world who I imagine haven't tortured bugs, but there's also a lot of people who have.
There's
Mhm.
people who eat bugs.
Yeah.
And it's I guess for the purpose of the short, you know, considering we watched Cachet too,
Mhm.
there's a scene in Cachet involving what's probably considered like animal. Yeah, and I read that was a real scene. So
Oh, wow.
Seems like it.
I feel like for What Is a Bug, that served the purpose of what we were trying to do. I'm sorry to the bugs.
Yeah.
But
No, they got their revenge.
yeah.
Fucking. So after you left, so Elijah came over. We did that. The purpose for that, by the way, was just I wanted to see how effective like seeing life being taken on camera could like feel. You know, I don't know how it feels for the audience, but when we showed it in the theater, people really liked it.
That was actually really cool.
Above the other shorts.
Ours was like one of the ones where
They had a
seemed like-
response and actually.
Yeah. Remember that dude walked up to us? There was a
Yeah.
dude that walked up to us.
He was the programmer. Or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd he say?
He said he loved it. It was his
Aw.
favorite one.
And we it didn't win.
Yeah.
That was a weird part.
What were you saying?
But where was I saying?
Taking life on camera.
Taking life on camera. You said what it was for. Oh, afterwards, after you left, so like we got all the shots we needed, and I'm like, all right, this is probably good enough, you know. Elijah left, and I needed to get the title shot. I imagine like a bunch of bugs, just like black background, just like falling. You can see like light on them. I kind of got that. I only got one take of it because I was like, I kind of want to do this in the garage because it's like it's cold, and you know I could set up the lights here. I have like everything set up already. Like I could just do this really simple. So we're just gonna drop them in a cardboard box, like from the box that we had them in. And so I'm like, all right, Kate, you're gonna do it. And she's great, but she can be a bit clumsy sometimes. She starts doing it. I'm like, all right, that's kind of, they come out like a little bit like in spurts, not like one like float like a waterfall, like kind of like how I wanted. Realistically, I should have just done this in the backyard. So they come in like spurts, so it doesn't. It takes a little bit longer for like her box to be empty into like the bottom box, but they're like crickets. So as soon as they're in the box, they start running away. And Kate's like, all the crickets are going everywhere. I'm like, fuck. So I close the box, and like we close it, and they're like, there's little corners and like crawling out and shit. There's like it just looked like shit. I'm like, oh fuck, dude. And there's crickets everywhere, and I get this like insecticide, and I just start like spraying the holes so they'll stop crawling out. And then I get the tweezers that we were using. I try to spray them. But no, you know what it was is I closed the box and I tried getting all the ones with tweezers, but there's like a pain in the ass to catch. So by the end of this, I got really good at catching crickets with tweezers. And And but when I got the insecticide, I was like, just fuck this shit, dude. This is pissing me the fuck off. It took like an extra half hour to get this shit under control. So I was just like spraying a bunch of crickets, and then I just got the box. And there's still like some crawling out, and I just put it off on the side of the house, and I never saw them ever again. But that was like a genuine pain in the ass.
Then there's crickets all in the garage and shit.
Yeah, like a few escaped too. I was like, that's like the main character. That's like one lucky ass fucking cricket. But yeah, I hate bugs, so like it grossed me out, you know.
I'm not a big bug fan either.
No.
I'm glad we didn't have to.
I'm not a big bug fan.
Like when people do that, like, or even like the jackass thing you guys were talking about with the, I don't know how people do that.
Yeah, but it was still fun. It was still really.
That was a really fun project to work on, and now that's kind of we've been talking about maybe. There's another one coming.
CJ said, "Did you get the vaccine?" I forget if I asked. Yeah, you did ask me on like Instagram. I did not get the vaccine. I think both of you guys are both vaccinated.
I'm
right?
vaccinated.
Both vaccinated.
Yeah, I got those first 2 shots.
And
Haven't
then
gotten a booster.
Johnny's like got one shot.
He's half
He's
vaccinated.
half. He's like
Vaccinated.
half blood.
You didn't. So wait, like, was it? Because some of them you need 2. But there was like one of them where you only need 1.
Yeah.
Did he just
Yeah.
get like one of the one where you need 2?
He needs like one of the ones where you need. I don't know. I don't know
Oh,
exactly
okay.
how it all works. I haven't researched it in terms of like how. I know because like there's somewhere you need like, what, like how many, like what's a max that what you need for one is like 3 or 2.
Yeah, they're doing. I don't know too much.
And then
about
they have like
booster
boosters
stuff,
coming
man.
out like every like 3 months, right?
Mhm.
This guy said, "Are you scared of fireflies?" And Brandon said, "Yeah, I got the first 2." This guy said, I don't know how to say your name, bro. GZDR for Ev. He said, "Are you scared of fireflies?" We don't really have fireflies in Vegas.
I never seen a firefly.
I've never seen one, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, they look cool.
I don't know if they actually exist.
I don't know if they actually exist. Yeah, there's like none of that shit here. I've never seen a single firefly.
Who asked if you were vaccinated?
My old coworker CJ. I think I told
yeah,
you about
you've
them.
told me about
These
CJ.
guys
It's
are
cool.
replacing me on was supposed to replace me on Renegade, but he left like 2 weeks later. I remember the last thing he said to me when I was leaving. He's like, "Bro, you're really gonna leave me here?"
And then he left.
He's like, "You're really leaving me here?" I'm like, "Oh, we'll hang out sometimes." Like, "Oh, for sure." And then like that's the last time I saw him. Somebody said, the guy said, "Are you scared of fireflies?" Is Drev a good nickname for you, Lama? Yeah, CJ's pretty cool. He was watching Wizard last night as well.
Nice.
That's when we got
Nice.
like a pretty like it was consistently at 5, which is pretty good.
Good crowd. Good crowd.
The most I ever had on one Wizard episode was like 20 viewers, which is like
Damn.
that was for like the terrorist one we did. We were like we dressed up as terrorists and tortured our friends.
Did you like try to get more people on it before?
I don't know what it was. I think I wasn't necessarily trying to. I think just like a lot of our friends knew that this was like a big episode that we were
Okay.
planning some shit. I'm sure like Mikey and Jay and them told them like, "Oh, watch this one." That one was fun as fuck though. Somebody said, "What the fuck?" This guy GZDR for Ev said it's short for Dr. Evil. What the fuck? Yeah, how the fuck do you say that name, bro? GZD like Gizzard.
Gizzard?
It's like GZDR, like GZ Doctor for Ev. So it's short for Dr. Evil. All right, I'll just call him Dr. Evil for now. It's easier. Do you guys want to get into the movies? Get in the movies
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to start with heavy metal.
Just watch it. Yeah.
We just watched it, yeah. So this is my second time watching it. First time I watched it was pretty recently, like in October, I think, October or September, and I was like stoned as fuck when I watched it, and I felt like at that time specifically I was really like primed to watch the movie because I grew up watching South Park and they had that one heavy metal
that one,
parody. That one's funny because it's like Kenny's like he's cheesing, which is like this thing. I don't know if it's real or not. Where like a cat will spray piss on your face and you get high as fuck, and he basically just watches heavy metal in his head, but it's a parody, so it's just fucking retarded. So I kind of like knew what the movie was like, but like without really knowing what it was about. And then I saw like a few like clips and stuff before, so I was like, all right, I really want to watch this movie now. And then Elwood watched it, and that's what I think cued me. I was like, all right, I need to fucking watch this movie finally. Like Elwood fucking watched it. So Heavy Metal was like a magazine for I don't know how long, like through the 70s and 80s, most definitely.
Mhm.
I think it's a magazine to this day. They still have new issues, I believe.
Let's see.
You can still get a membership for these magazines.
That's interesting.
But
I didn't know that.
It's cool because it's like they just have like really cool like drawings and artwork and stuff, and like really crazy comics. I think like all these are kind of like inspired by some of the comics they had.
That's super cool. And it was just kind of like that
Yeah, it's
I
just
don't know.
badass.
medieval fantasy type of imagery.
It's like medieval. It's like sci-fi fantasy. You know?
Yeah.
It's like they have some like really cool cool mix of like genres and shit. Let's see. Oh, Jalen's here.
Oh, what's up,
Uh,
Jalen? It was a
What's
pleasure
up?
meeting you the other day. Hope you're doing well.
CJ said, ever thought about doing a gas station stream? I have. I don't know if my job would allow it, but dude, that'd be
That'd be
fucking
pretty good.
sick, man. Dr. Evil said it's a mix of different names: GZ, Game Zone, CS Clan, Doctor. 4, I sat in the 4th seat at tournaments, and then EV, Evil as in Dr. Evil. Why Dr. Evil? Is Dr. Evil like a thing? Is that like a superhero or something? I don't know.
It's from Austin Powers, you know.
Oh
Dr.
yeah,
Evil.
yeah. That's right. All right, so you like Michael Myers. Jalen said heavy metal got to be the sexiest, dumbest movie for real. Got a couple backs from the 80s. Fuck yeah, badass. Yeah, heavy metal's fucking. All right. CJ said American Hentai. Yeah, dude, it's a horny ass movie. Brandon said gas station stream would be amazing as far as Clerks type beat. Yeah, I don't know if they'd allow it. Because it's not like a mom and pop type gas station. It's literally just like it's the Speedy Mart, which is the fucking
Chain.
Hatter Mart. So it's a local chain, but it's like they treat it like a little bit more corporate than like some like Clerks. It'd be cool to find a gas station that was like pretty like easygoing. You could do whatever the fuck.
I went to a gas station today. It was just a 7-Eleven, but in the outside they were blasting classical music the whole time.
What the fuck?
It was awesome.
That's pretty sick. Oh, Elwood's talked about that one.
Is
Well,
there
Elwood
by
loves
the
that
arts
one.
by
Yeah.
the arts district?
Probably. Elwood's told me about that gas station. He's like, he wanted to shoot something there because they're just constantly playing
Yes,
classical music.
yeah. I've been there once before, and I completely forgot about it until I came back there today, and yeah, it's amazing.
Is it on Charleston?
Yeah, it's on
Charleston and Vegas?
and Casino Center Drive.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, heavy metal. So this is your first time
Mhm.
watching it. Watching it this time, I watched a bit of like behind the scenes afterwards, and I remember them saying like it did feel like it was definitely unpolished, and it was definitely had a lot of boobs in it, but like we fucking loved making it and had a huge impact. I'm like, yeah, I could see that.
Um,
I think I was in the right mind state. I took like probably 10 hits from my wax pen.
oh
Jesus
God. Do you want to?
No, and then I think it's interesting how it kind of not necessarily that there's different pieces, but the way they try to glue the pieces together
Mhm.
feels very
It's a bit rough sometimes.
yeah, but I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It was very fun.
It reminded me of like the first half of Mandy.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's just very abstract, and people
Mhm.
are saying stuff, but it's not really like they're actually saying anything.
Yeah.
What was your guys' favorite segment?
Oh boy.
Um,
I have a few favorite, like, for an entire segment that I know I really liked. Oh fuck.
I remember liking the one where the robot. I don't think it's like. I wouldn't say it's the best segment, but the one where the robot like falls for the lady, and like they want to get married.
He's like,
and-
I'll marry you,
They
but it
have
has
to
to
have
be
a Jewish wedding.
yeah, she asked if he's circumcised or something. That was funny.
He's like, by the way, are you circumcised?
Oh, I like the two like alien things that like are driving the ship. That was like really trippy.
That
was
that part
cool.
where he's like, he's like, are you good to land this thing, man? Dude,
He's
what the
like,
fuck
yeah,
is
I drive high all the time. You just you gotta let your hands do the
It's like,
driving.
you drive like you're straight, man.
Um,
Chat said heavy metal, tank girl, old school throwbacks. I like the plane scene. Oh yeah, I remember really liking the plane scene, the bomber scene a lot more this time around. Jalen said it's got to be one of the few animations you can just tell they had fun with it for sure. The robot reminds me of Woody Allen. CJ said, and the two aliens are pouring coke on the floor.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
great.
with their little
That was
elephant
great.
snouts.
Yeah, that part was so fucking funny. The one where the nerd turns into like the buff black
Yeah,
dude with
I-
a huge dick.
Yeah, I like that one.
That one is funny as fuck. You-
The dude who's like on trial.
Oh, that one. I like the
And
I like
that-
the beginning for that one the
That
most.
that was clever too, cause like, I don't know, you think like, oh, this dude's like getting fucked over, but then you realize like that's
the
part of
whole
the plan.
plan.
That was pretty funny.
I like the one. It's whatever the race of that the lady with the gray hair. Who is like the last of her kind.
Terrakians or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. She finds her bird, and it's like it's just the bird flying around. But I like the music there the most. It was
Mhm.
it was more. It was just orchestral.
Yeah.
They had a lot of French horns. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Did you like the music? What did you think of the music?
Not all. I'm not like a huge heavy metal fan, but like there's some songs that like I do listen, like I did save from this for
I
sure.
feel like it was before heavy metal became like heavy metal. It's like
81,
hair metal.
81, yeah.
It's like hair metal
Mm.
kinda. Before like Metallica a little bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Let me see. Chat said they're singing a lot of shit right now. With my dork hanging out. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Danny's like, I'm not gonna walk around my dork hanging out. Tarna, CJ said she's sexy as shit. Jesus Christ.
I didn't realize that it was like it's almost like a combination of like short films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think
Um,
that's why when you said like who directed it, I'm like,
I see what you mean.
I saw like the
yeah.
behind the scenes, and they went to like different people to like make.
Just in the
Different
way
shorts,
the
yeah.
credits are sanctioned or sectioned off by the different sort of segments.
Yeah.
Like everyone worked on a different part.
Because I kind of thought like the first segment with the taxi driver was like the beginning of the story, and
That's
then,
what I thought too.
Then
yeah.
you start to realize like this shit just doesn't like go together.
Yeah.
Like not that it doesn't go together, but it's like not like a cohesive story.
But
No.
then it has like that thing with the
The green
evil
orb.
the ball inside the house, and that's supposed to be the thing that ties in. And that's where it's like, I wonder why they put that in there because it doesn't. it feels-
They said in an interview or the documentary I watched where it's like they needed something to tie these shorts together because they wanted it to be like, you know, kind of like how the magazine feels, and they wanted to use something to tie it together. It's like, you know, so it could be like a movie, and not
Yeah.
something like Jackass where it's like a compilation. And so somebody came up with the idea for like the orb and stuff. And there's like some issues with it, like whether it was like a, I forget what the term for it was. It's like some like
MacGuffin.
like a MacGuffin, yeah. And
Yeah.
they're worried about like the issues that comes with, but they just kind of went with it because they started it and everybody was already animating. Animating's super expensive, so they just couldn't go
Yeah.
back.
That's probably the best way to do it, though.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
for something like this.
What'd you guys think of the intro?
It's like space and
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
that was awesome.
I like.
I like
that.
the music there too.
Yeah.
I was like, this is why he said get stoned for it. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that's stoned as fuck. I remember being like blown away.
Oh,
by
he
the
has
intro.
he's in the fucking car.
Yeah, he's in the car.
That was funny.
Yeah, dude, but like the music starts with the car coming out of the fucking space shuttle. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, damn, dude, this is fucking sick. CJ said, I feel like if the taxi driver had his own series or movie, it'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah, I
was
liked this
cool.
part. He
It
was
reminded me of The Fifth Element, like
Oh,
Bruce
yeah,
Willis's
yeah, yeah.
character.
Are you a Luc Besson fan?
This song?
No,
This
I
song.
no, cause like I like The Fifth Element. I don't really know if it's a good movie, but it's fun to watch. And then Leon the Professional is all right. And besides that, I don't know, Valerian. I want to watch Angel A, but that's mostly because there was this video kind of he was talking to the director who was going to direct his music video. You got to watch Angel A to get, I guess, his idea.
That's a
or
pretty
whatever.
cool name.
So yeah, I want to check out that one.
I've only ever seen Leon, but there's a lot of mixed opinions out there about it.
I remember when I watched it, you were like, God, I fucking hate that movie.
I did not like Leon that much. Leon, like, it's like one of the best rated movies on IMDb.
Yeah.
And I remember, like,
yeah, that's pretty surprising.
and then
I
I was
don't
like,
get that.
I was like getting ready to, looking forward to seeing it, and then it just like, I didn't care for it too
Mhm.
much. Gary Oldman's really good in it though.
Mhm.
Gary Oldman's good reason to watch it.
Yeah.
I like that line where there's the dude who's like the king that never dies, and he like shoots him, and then he's like, he says something like, "That's why they make."
He's like, I bet that's why he's the leader. Yeah.
Those lines are really funny.
Yeah, that's John Candy.
Yeah, yeah.
Jalen said, "Bro, have you read the fucking script for Leon? This man wanted wild shit. I have not read it. Might have to check it out now."
It was like based on like something that happened to him, right?
Yeah, it's basically a memoir of his relationship with like a 14-year-old
Oh
girl.
shit! What the fuck?
But he just made himself a hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess overall with heavy metal, the animation's like amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's there's some parts where you can see it's a bit unpolished. I don't know if it's just like its age like that, but
It's just funny how slow everything is.
yeah.
Well, I guess like I enjoyed the animation, but I did find myself like my mind wandered a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because it's like I didn't realize it was like kind of supposed to jump from one thing to another. There's definitely some segments that though were like kind of slow. And I didn't care about too much.
Yeah, there's that. I felt that a little bit more this time around. But what was I gonna say? But I remember the first time watching it. I don't know. I don't know if it was just because I was stoned or what, but I was really involved in like thinking about like each of the premises. Like especially like how it would feel to be in those premises, you know, like that's one thing that I really took away from this movie first time watching it, and even this time again, is just like how many different stories, like how many different premises you could have, right? Like how many stories that don't exist yet. Like there's so like each genre isn't like one specific type of thing. Like there's a big mix of stuff going on, and a lot of it's stuff that is actually like pretty hard to shoot in real life as well. Like you can't really do much of this in real life.
Like a cartoon's a good medium for it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess the first one is the taxi driver.
Mm-hmm.
What happens after the taxi driver?
Den of Earth.
Dawn of Earth.
It's Den of Earth. I think it's DEN.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so.
And then that's the dude who like gets turned into the black guy.
Yeah.
Okay. He finds like he saves the woman or whatever, and she's like, I can't give you anything, but like
If there's any part of my body
yeah,
that you
yeah, that was fun.
That was another thing about like the documentary. They said like they wanted to like not give a fuck. Like they just wanted to have fun with it and like put lots of like tits in it. And it was a big stoner movie back in the day too. It was like one of the like the huge fucking stoner movie.
I would definitely get high again to watch it.
Yeah,
I'd want to watch it while high.
You should.
It's a great movie though to watch with friends, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, were you high?
No, not this time. Not this time.
Okay.
I was pretty stone cold sober.
Do you think you would have enjoyed it more or less if you weren't high?
Maybe, but it's not like it only gets better if you're high. It doesn't get necessarily worse if you're sober.
Okay. So yeah, the Den of Earth. What's after that one? I think it's the courtroom one.
I think so.
Is the courtroom one? I think so. I know for sure after the courtroom one is the bomber short, and then after the bomber one is the Pentagon one. Yeah, and then the Pentagon one is the one that ends with like the robot, and then that goes to like the final short, which is like kind of the longest one.
The thorax or whatever it is.
Yeah. I like how that thing that she flies around on in the last short is like pretty obviously like some dude just screaming. Like if you go back and listen to it, I was just like, dude, that's like some dude had to voice that.
It's like a dinosaur, but you know how like they say a dinosaur's closest relative is like a chicken, not so much even a lizard. It looks like bird-like, but like edible bird. Looks like a chicken.
It's like a mixture of like weird or I don't know, not as cool as a pterodactyl, not as goofy as a chicken. Like some weird line in between.
I follow a few like different like drawing and comic book Instagram profiles, and they post all kinds of stuff, and they post like some heavy metal stuff, and that like creature, that like pterodactyl fucking, I don't even know what the fuck I don't know how you describe it. It's like it's a pretty popular, like it's been in like other works, it's been in like multiple works like reused before. And so it's like somewhat iconic, not so much nowadays, but like in that world, like the drawing comic world, like the heavy metal world is pretty popular. But I don't know. In this movie, I remember watching this. I'm like, man, I don't give a fuck about that thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fucking like whining all the time. Oh, and then Jalen sent the Leon the Professional script. Check it out. Probably read this. I remember reading the script for Good Time.
Oh.
There's a scene in there in the script where they're like in a cabin with like a Wolverine or some shit.
What the
It's
fuck?
like some shit that doesn't match the movie at all. It's like some flashback.
What like scene does it take, or what part of the movie does it happen?
I forget. It's like I think they do it 2 times where they have like the same flashback.
Does it
more
like
towards like the middle?
Does it have the same characters in it?
Yeah, it's like something about like showing some more context with the brothers.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Have you heard the Good Will Hunting story, where like they wrote like a scene into the middle of the script where it's just like a random like out of place sex scene, but it was to see if like people actually read it.
Oh, really?
So I
What the
wonder if
fuck?
it's something like that.
It could be. I don't know. And then the last scene where like where they're in the apartment and stuff. Spoilers for Good Time. Was sort of instead of having like a dog come into the apartment, I think they wrote like a fucking like a mountain lion.
What the
It
fuck?
comes into the fucking apartment door. It's fucking crazy. But anyways, heavy metal.
Shout
Back
out to the
heavy
screenplays out there.
metal. Yeah. I gotta read some more of those, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
that's
Charles
good
Burmeister
practice.
said, like when I was in a room with Charles Burmeister, my first screenwriting teacher, and he's like, "You just need more experience." And he was just like, "Just read all these like screenplays." He sent me a bunch of them. I read only like 2 of them.
What do you just look it up, or do you go? I use this website, Script Slug.
I use there's this one called, I forget how I found this. It's called the Daily Script, and you just go here, and it's got like a bunch of like the popular ones.
Oh wow.
It's like The Matrix is on here, Alien is on here, Aliens.
There's like an IMDb one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
IMDSB or something.
Yeah.
And I know Kids is on here too.
Cage?
Kids.
Oh, Kids. Okay.
Yeah. I was surprised to find Kids on here.
I've heard like Kids is pretty the script's pretty accurate.
yeah.
Yeah. It's actually, I was surprised by that.
Yeah. Hmm.
You wouldn't think that, like the way the dialogue
It's
is in the
very
movie.
sounds very improv.
What else with heavy metal?
Would you read the comics?
Yeah, fucking when I first watched this movie, like Kate almost got a subscription
Really?
to heavy metal. And I was like super down for it. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'd totally read these like magazines every time they came in.
Are like the heavy metal magazines kind of like, I guess like in Playboy magazines they have like interviews and stuff.
Mhm.
Is it like that, or is it just kind of like comic strips?
I don't know. I've never looked at one.
Okay.
I just know that the comics would get the most attention,
Okay.
like the artwork, But it'd be cool to see. Oh, Jalen said they do have interviews. They have interviews.
Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be that'd
yeah,
be really
that'd
cool.
be really cool to get one. Damn, I should have a Jalen Elwood episode.
That would be
that'd be
really
fun.
cool.
That'd be really tight. Jalen, if you're down. Oh, Jalen's also making a wizard shirt. I forgot about that. Where's Elwood, by the way, Jalen? Get his ass on the stream. She's making a wizard shirt.
Nice.
Elwood showed me a few designs, or just 1 or 2. But they look sick as fuck. You should check out Jalen's
Get
Instagram account.
okay.
She's got some like cool artwork.
What's it called? Or what's it?
What the fuck? Jalen said, "I'd be down. He's out at Denny's, I think. I got another design with sexy lady." Oh, okay, cool. Looking forward to it.
What's the name of the page?
Jal Binks is her Instagram page. She has some really cool artwork. Let's see. I'll send it to the group chat. If that's okay with you, Jalen. Jal. Dude, her fucking...
Oh, nice.
Her profile picture is
That's
crazy.
What's the profile?
She said, "Thank you, yes sir." Did you find it already?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. You just follow that. But yeah, it'd be cool that she's down to be on Wizard. All right, cool. That'd be a really cool episode. Let's see. All right, anything else with heavy metal?
There was one transition that was really cool.
Which
where
one?
like I think it's when one of the war scenes and they're throwing like spikes at someone, and they throw a spike at someone and it like impales them and they fall down.
Oh,
and then the
yeah,
next
I know what you're
scene,
talking about.
like it turns into like their face is there and like they're all bloody and stuff.
It's a match cut or match dissolve or something.
Yeah, it's weird because then the next thing is like a building or something, but the building has like
it's like
poles coming out of
yeah.
it or something.
It matches like perfectly with.
It was a really cool.
You can only do that with like a drawing, really,
Yeah.
or like some like or building some set piece. You know, in real life, you want to do the same thing. Yeah, they killed the eunuch guy. That and you're like, is that guy a eunuch?
Yeah,
That's that guy.
I like to see eunuchs in film and in television. I can't believe that they exist. Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's not enough appreciation for eunuchs.
I don't know if appreciation is the right word, but it's like
Exposure.
that's funny too, because there's a in the one with Den of Earth where the queen, like, her first thing she says to them is like, castrate him.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that seems super fucking funny. I see why they make this guy leader. What was the other one he said? There's one more he said. Ah, fuck, I forget.
There's a part where he's like, I think I'm just gonna play this one cool, and then he gets to his real voice. Like, where's the girl?
Yeah. I like the part where him and the queen are fighting over the fucking whatever the fuck the orb is called. And he was like, "Give me that, you bitch!"
Yeah.
He's like, "Give me that, it's mine." Oh, fucking! I was surprised at some of the people that were in this. Devo made a few songs for this.
He did it when he was with Black Sabbath though. That's not prime Black Sabbath.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like Ozzy's stuff.
Oh, yeah?
More, a little bit.
And then who else was in this? Cheap Trick. They made music for another animated movie, which is where I pulled the song for like the outro music for Backcountry. And then some other. Oh, then fucking.
Devo's in it.
Devo, yeah.
I think
Devo.
they animated Devo too.
Really?
Yeah, they animated them like super like I don't
Yeah.
know exactly how accurate it is to Devo. I'm not like a huge Devo guy, but like they're all there like with like these fucked up instruments and like looking funky as fuck.
What do you think of like the orchestral stuff?
That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like they said, I like the part with the tatter, the silver, the gray-haired lady, and it was
Mhm.
just flying around. That music was cool.
Jalen said, "Have you guys seen Heavy Metal 2000? I've only seen trailer, but it looked like shit. Lamau. It did look like shit. No, I haven't seen it."
Does it have like that, like late '90s, early 2000s, sort of like when they try to use computer graphics?
Yeah,
it's-
I think you guys
looks
looked
like
at it
PS2.
on IMDb last time. You guys are like, "Wow, that looks like shit."
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like complete garbage.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'd spend time watching the Heavy Metal 2000.
Good recommendation.
That
Oh, yeah,
was-
I'm glad. There's-
yes.
I mostly just like thinking about like the concepts a lot and like the writing. Like it's pretty. I always thought it was very subversive. Like the courtroom scene specifically was like it just starts out. It's like they read out all these charges, like 12 counts of rape. And it's like he's like, how do you plead? He's like,
Preschool
not
prostitution.
yeah. He's like, how do you plead? Not guilty. And then the guy comes out and he's like, slowly gets more and more pissed, and he goes into this giant fucking hole like, out of nowhere. I was just really caught off guard with like a lot of the shorts.
That one was clever.
Mhm.
That one's the most clever, I think.
Or even the Pentagon one. That one blew. I remember first time I watched it, I was like, "Holy fuck, dude!" Just like the way it starts out. I don't know. It reminded me of like Monsters vs. Aliens. Remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of that. But I remember watching them. Like, all right, I really dig the vibe of how this is opening with like just like 60s politicians and shit talking about like aliens, and then the UFO appears and the guy just starts going crazy. He's like, "What the fuck? Like, how do you come up with this? You know?" And then it sucks him out and they're going on like some adventure. I don't know. I was just really like taken aback by the writing in this. And there's some spots where like the writing's a bit like, especially in like some dialogue, but some of it's pretty good. So like I just really appreciated like
It
where they
reminded
went with all
me
the shorts.
of like I guess yeah, just like some sort of like comic serial where you every few pages is a different sort of story. It feels it's very evocative of I assume what the magazine is like,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a good way to like put like a magazine in a fucking like movie format, honestly.
Yeah, because it feels almost like this like collage
Mhm.
as a film.
What's up, Johnny? But yeah, anything else? Anything else with heavy metal?
I want to see it. I'd like to see it again with you guys too.
Yeah.
Maybe high.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'd probably get sent for it again.
It was fun though. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fun. I don't know how quickly I'd revisit it again, but
Yeah, I'd give it some time.
I'd like to. There are some parts I'd kind of like to watch again, just to. I don't know. I think I lost attention. A few moments.
There's parts I definitely I go back to several times to check out, like the bomber scene I check out every once in a while. The Pentagon scene I check out once in a while when they get sucked up and that shit. And the music they chose for that scene too, I fucking love that song, dude. Just the beginning part. The beginning and any part are the same, but like the middle part I hate it. I just I can't stand it. I just skip it every time. But the bomber scene, I remember being blown away when I watched that too, because when he lands on the island and there's like all those zombies coming out and shit. I remember thinking about like there's like no zombies that look like that in a movie where it's just like a skull, you know, and they're like all rotting and shit, just like rotting flesh, and you like see through the body. It's like I don't really see zombies like that, or like I don't even know what you call it, like undead quite like that.
It is a cool way to think about it, kind of.
Yeah.
More as like ghouls.
Yeah, like like
Yeah.
you don't see ghouls, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no ghouls really.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were my thoughts on it when I was watching it the first time.
There was something I wanted to say, but
Was it
I
about
forgot.
one of the shorts?
I think so. I forgot what it was.
Oh, you're all good.
Among animated films, where does this rank for you?
Oh, I remember.
Definitely. I wouldn't say. I'd say somewhere in like the top 6, maybe. Definitely not like top 3 or 4.
Top 6 though.
Definitely top 6 for sure. Yeah.
Do you not? You guys were talking about how it was animated slowly, kind of, or how they like move slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you not like that, or what are your
It's definitely a
thoughts?
bit dated.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, like you can't feel. I mean, like the one where I noticed that the most was like in Den of Earth and the last short, whatever
they were
they call them,
fighting.
where they're fighting. It's like she swings a sword really slowly. There's one dude who made an edit with like just one of the heavy metal songs that I watched like way before I saw the movie. That was like, this is pretty. This song makes it badass, but I remember noticing like how slow it felt, and I don't know why they chose it to do that way. Maybe it's just like they didn't have like the proper technique or whatever, or some budgeting issue. I don't know. But especially in Den of Earth, I remember watching like, man, I remember when I was stoned, this guy was moving way faster and cooler. I thought he was way more badass when I was stoned. Fucking CJ said, not gonna lie, I watched it at 1.5 speed and it was normal looking flash sounding. That's fucking genius. I might do that. Jalen said, it's a real charming piece, although some of the animation gets janky perspective wise, and it's just a fucking green orb connecting all of them. It's yummy. I find myself watching individual clips more often than the actual movie. Yeah. The rotoscoping has been interesting. Yeah, so like that's where like you can really tell like at some parts where it's like it feels unfinished, like a bit like unpolished. Like I noticed that a lot more this time.
There was a part where like it was like a shot of like it looked like a microscope image of like a cell or something like that, biological, and it was pink. But then yeah, it was just like the rotoscoped out like bottom, certain things like that, where it's just it looked plain.
I know for sure the parts where they're flying on the like the pterodactyl is like rotoscoped, like with where you saw the landscape
I think
moving.
the alien spaceship looked like
The alien spaceship almost looked 3D.
Yeah.
I was surprised as to how well they designed that, or they made it look. That part was cool. And then I know for sure the bomber scene was rotoscoped. Like they actually had like a legit like plane with like like black panels and like white lines just so that it'd be easier to animate.
That's cool.
It was pretty neat. But some of like the transition from rotoscope to like normal drawn images can be a bit rough sometimes, but I do enjoy how it looks sometimes. What's his face? Ralph Bakshi did a fuckload of rotoscoping. Like a fuckload of rotoscoping. It was mostly just like a way to avoid work. Avoid doing like really tedious work.
How long did it take him to make Heavy Metal?
I don't know.
How many animators probably worked on it?
A good amount. I don't know the exact number, but like if you look at the credits, I'm sure there's a fuckload of people. I know
dozen maybe.
Danny Antonucci. So he's the guy who made Ed, Edd n Eddy.
Really?
Yeah, he worked on this when he was like super young. Yeah. And I love that guy. He just like he goes out and he just shits on like current animation like super hard. He hates how it's like none of it's hand drawn. It's like all like computer drawn digitally and stuff. And he just like goes out there and he's like, we need to take animation back to the roots. He's a cool guy.
Do you think that would happen at all?
Maybe it's just they do it just because studios because it's just way cheaper to do it digitally. It's like
It's
less
faster.
It just doesn't look as cool. Like hand drawn stuff always looks like it has like a grit to it, that like current digital animation just can't capture. Just like whenever I see something that's like supposed to be gritty, but it's like you can tell it's digitally animated, it loses its balls,
It's like the difference between like when in a movie they have an actual animal versus like the CG dog.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Elwood is here. He said, "Have you seen this Black Rabbit movie? His Black Rabbit movie?" Oh, are you talking about Danny Antonucci or somebody else? And then Jen said the dollhouse being blown up at the end. It's so cheesy, but I love it.
Yeah,
you guys
I love
laughed.
that
You guys laughed at that part. Yeah, that was funny. Have you seen his Black Rabbit movie? The only thing I've seen, if you're talking about Danny Antonucci, I've only seen like the Butcher shorts he made and like some of his bumpers he made, which are pretty cool, and like commercial stuff he made. And then obviously Ed, Edd n Eddy. Yeah, but that dude Danny Antonucci, he made this one short about like a butcher, where he just like in the style of like like imagine Ed, Edd n Eddy, but like he's like cutting off his thumb and shit. It's like super like adult like graphic animation. It's pretty cool.
You should send us the link.
Oh, Ralph Bakshi. Oh, the Black Rabbit movie. Oh, I know why you call it Black Rabbit. I don't know if I can say this on Twitch. The title of the movie is do you know what it is?
I can imagine.
Coonskin?
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Yeah, that one. I saw parts of it. I think I watched like the beginning of it, and then I don't know why I didn't finish it. Yeah, Ralph Bakshi's really cool though. Cool Jewish guy.
Is he still alive?
I think he is. Yeah.
Okay.
He's had a few recent like interviews at like Comic-Con and shit.
We need to do a Ralph Bakshi episode.
Oh yeah, dude, that'd be so sick. Yeah, Wizards. Fritz the Cat. So like, do you guys anything else with heavy metal, or do you guys want to move on to Crumb?
I don't know how much more I have to say about it. If you guys have any thoughts, though.
No, but I think Crumb would be
Crumb would be good.
Good.
animation. Kinda,
Animation, yeah. What said Roger Ebert gave Coonskin 2 thumbs up, and he said Ralph paints sad clowns now. Yeah, he does. They're pretty good. I like his artwork right now. Yeah. So rating for heavy metal.
I'd give it like a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Anthony.
I'd probably give this like a 300 out of 400.
300 out of 400. I'd say first time I watched this, I would have given it like an 8.9 out of 10. I'd say like second time watching it, I'd give it like an 8.7 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mostly just appreciate I've already talked.
There is a lot to like about it.
Thanks for showing it to us.
Yeah,
Bobby.
I'm glad I got to see it.
Yeah, no problem. And then I would said 22 bubbles out of 40. CJ said 8 out of 10. Fuck yeah. All right, let's fucking go. All right. So Crumb, Anthony, you recommended this one.
Yeah, it just had been on my watch list for a while, and then in December I checked out Ghost World, and so I was like, I enjoyed Ghost World, and it seemed Terry Zwigoff, this was his first movie, and it'd been about 10 years in between, so I wonder what he was doing. But then I was listening to the Uncut Gems a director's commentary for the Criterion I got. Shout out to Criterion. But their co-writer, Ronald Bronstein, who did the movie Frownland, which we will watch it sometime.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, he in the commentary, because there's a part in Uncut Gems when Howie goes to watch his daughter perform in this play, and the play is like she's vomiting these gold coins, but it's like, the movie's very Jewish, and all the stuff is like Jewish themes, but I guess Ronald Bronstein said he had been talking to Robert Crumb for a while, like collaborating or something like that, and Robert Crumb's the one who had recommended some certain anti-Semitic like cartoons that Ronald Bronstein then used as inspiration to make the play in the movie. So after listening to that, I'm like, all right, I want to check out Crumb. And I've been watching a lot of documentaries recently, for no particular reason, out of just sheer interest. This one did not disappoint. It was fun. It was cool, and a great documentary is in a sense is one that you know, the filmmakers go in with the subject with one intention, but I guess like most films, there's this active discovery that happens, and you're watching it like information literally unfold before your eyes, and a lot of information gets unfolded in this movie. You know that you didn't really expect, I guess, but then it kind of makes sense. But what did you guys think of the movie?
Let me read what chat says real quick.
Yeah.
Before we move on. CD said about heavy metal, it's more about appreciating small scenes from the movie rather than following a plot that makes sense. I agree. Owen said, gonna leave for spoilers. Text me when you move on. He also said Terry was writing Bad Santa the whole time. And then Brandon said, I'm glad Adam Sandler took the role for Uncut Gems. Wild. He's funny. But for Crumb, this is like I said, I told you, I think yesterday, this is like the second time I watched it.
Oh, nice.
I watched the first time because fucking Jordan Peterson recommended watching this.
Really?
He said, because he was explaining how, like, how, like, men view women and shit like that. And, like, especially, like, really, like, pathetic men, like, and they can't get laid. And, like, the way they view women is, like, way up on a pedestal, like a goddess. And he's like, that's why, like, some of those people will go out and, like, you know, molest people or, like, rape people. And so he just said, if you want to understand like how somebody could potentially like rape a woman, like watch Crumb. And so I was like, at the time I was really interested in like understanding like different perspectives and shit, like watching like a movie from like that's part of the reason why I got into like Irreversible, was just like watching the beginning scene from like a perspective of like trying to enjoy what I was watching. So I was like, fuck it, I'll check out Crumb. And so I watched it like when I was like 18 or 19. Watching it here though it's just like you're noticing more stuff, you know, like more stuff to appreciate. But also getting more of like a realistic view on like, especially on Robert Crumb, you know.
Yeah.
More of a mature look at him.
Did you know about his artwork beforehand?
Yeah, I wasn't super familiar with it, but like I knew about Fritz the Cat for like a long time.
Okay.
I knew like he made the original cartoons, and then Ralph Bakshi picked it up as a movie, and I also knew that he also like fucking hated the movie for whatever reason. He didn't. I don't know why he hated the movie. They didn't say why he hated the movie either in the documentary.
I saw something. He didn't really respect Ralph Bakshi as like a filmmaker or somebody. He just thought he was like lowbrow, just like, you know, cashing in.
Did like Ralph Bakshi animate it any differently than he drew it in the cartoons?
Not crazy differently. Like for the time maybe a little bit differently, but like pretty like not far off at all.
Was it still like really raunchy? Like had the raunchiness level like changed at all, I guess?
I haven't read any of the comics, but it seems like the raunchiness is about the same. I'm sure the one thing comic books do is they can get away with way more raunchiness than movies can. Like there's no ratings for comic books.
Yeah.
Like if you go out and like find like an adult comic book like about like some action or shit, they're gonna show like everything. They're gonna show like they don't give a fuck, man. They literally just like we'll draw anything. And especially like the good ones will draw all that like fucked up shit like as accurately as possible.
You saw that definitely with Crumb.
Yeah.
He didn't hold back. It was a very interesting movie. I didn't know what to expect about it. I'd heard just a little bit about like what you'd said about how he's like kind of like a controversial like cartoonist. And I figured there was gonna be like some kind of off-color aspect to it. And yeah, I think I really enjoyed it. I was very like, it's like a 2-hour movie, and it went by very quickly. And I kind of just wanted to like know more about this guy. His like artwork is like obviously like really impressive, just on like he's an incredible like artist. There's like no denying that. And it's interesting how kind of like there's this intersection of, I guess, like, because I remember you also said too it's kind of about his family. And there's this like weird intersection of how probably that plays into a lot of like the weird stuff that he ended up producing, and then just kind of seeing the way like his brothers' lives ended up going, and how like it makes you think of his success in a different way. You know, you don't just think of him as like comic book artist who got famous.
Some like random anomaly, you know.
No, yeah, it's like it definitely doesn't really glorify that. I'd say
No.
it's almost like they're all kind of like victims of like masochism in a way. And he was just the one that happened to like get his name out there, but
You just got lucky.
Yeah,
And-
it seems like there's whatever line it was, he was the only one that was maybe able to balance it, where he could have one foot in the world that they all seem to be in their head, which is a very strange place, but be able to like actually function somewhat in every day, where it seems like the other ones they can't, you know.
it was very, very psychological. That was really cool. There's I don't know. And there's a lot to talk about with it, though.
Yeah.
It was a very great recommendation. Thank you.
I remember
Anthony.
really thinking about the childhood stories a lot more. I don't know why that I didn't really pay attention to that part much when I was first watching, but this time I really connected with it. Just like a bunch of kids like making comic books and like really being obsessed with comic books like that. That's like, I just think that's so interesting. Just like having a club and that's your entire world is making comic books like through to high school and stuff like that.
They were all into it too.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's not like just like one of them was good at it and caught on, and like the others, it was like,
Not quite. It was like the older brother was like way into it, and like he like forced everybody
he
else to
basically
do
bullied them
Yeah.
into it, but they turned out like to be just as
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I like the younger brother's story because like especially like being able to draw and shit. Like I grew up like I never really felt like I had to learn how to draw. I could just always kind of do it. But the younger brother, when he was describing his journey through like learning to draw and stuff, he said he took a class when he was like in the 6th grade, never really like drew or anything, and then was taking a class and he was just like suddenly he was able to fucking like draw. I'm just imagining how that would be like not knowing you had a talent and then like suddenly like less than 24 hours later you're actually like pretty damn good at something.
Roger Deakins never picked up a camera until he was 24 years old.
Fucking Christ, wow. Jesus Christ. But I can't imagine what that's like. And then he apparently had a seizure like a day, like the same day
Yeah.
or some shit like that.
But then he talks about how like it was having that like out of body experience like allowed him to like draw. That's kind of what led him to be able to draw, because in a sense he compared drawing to like some sort of out of body thing. But that was cool. And the craziest stuff for me was with that younger brother, to be honest. Like
Yeah, dude.
the shoestring and
Yeah.
the needles
Okay.
and then all the molesting stuff. I was like, wow.
That was
the bed
weird.
of nails.
that
Yeah.
was when he pulled that out, I was like, what the fuck? That wasn't like implied beforehand, was it?
No, not at all.
Like,
It was
okay.
the funny thing about it though is that like the camera people were like kind of like, I don't know, a little goofier, because like he would be talking but then they would just like tilt down to show his like dirty ass feet or something.
Yeah, like his toenails.
Yeah.
His teeth looked almost like blue.
Oh, man.
Like they were like so dirty.
There was a shot earlier in the film where like you kind of see his feet or like his hands or something, and they're like really dark blue. And I just remember like thinking like, is he like homeless or something? But then like you find out he fucking just sits on nails sometimes, and that was really bizarre.
Do you think that was that shoestring used?
Oh yeah, then he said he like shit out the string and then like he would eat it again, and it, like
He has to do it once a day, he said.
his eyes were like so bloodshot. It was.
I also thought it was crazy how the younger brother looked like he was older than Crumb. Like he's younger than Crumb but looked older.
Okay,
you know?
see, I forgot. I didn't pick up on that. I thought he was the older one.
Nah.
I just assumed he was.
the one who was like
The one who kills himself.
the one who kills
older
himself
one.
is the
Yeah.
oldest one. Yeah.
That was pretty sad.
CJ. Robert Crumb said he was sexually attracted to cartoon characters when he was younger. He was kind of making his own porn by just doing comics. I thought that was funny.
There's like
He
like admitted to it.
It's funny how he admits most of it though. He's like, this is probably wrong, but you know.
Yeah.
That was the interesting thing too, because like he kind of became famous by just like being himself, and like he was like kind of weird and perverted and like.
Because also too, he was like writing for like some like psychedelic magazine, just
His
doing like
Zap comics.
standard ass comics, and then he's like, I'm gonna just do my own thing, you know. And you know, like that story of Stan Lee doing like creating Fantastic Four, where he was working for like some like random comic thing, but then he was working on this his own thing, and he showed it to his wife, and his wife's like, "No, quit your job, keep doing this," and then that's like how Marvel Comics kind of
Oh shit! No, I
became a
didn't know that.
thing. But that was basically that, but instead it was all this perverted pornographic
Yeah,
shit.
for real.
Yeah.
The one comic he drew with like the headless lady.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I don't think that one wasn't the most disturbing. I think the Joe Blow one was pretty.
Is that the dad?
Oh,
one?
that's like you
Yeah.
ever heard the one joke that what's his face something Godfrey tells the aristocrats? You ever heard that joke?
Oh,
Gilbert Godfrey.
Gilbert Godfrey, yeah, he
I
tells this
haven't
one
heard.
joke called the aristocrats. You haven't heard it?
How's it go?
Oh, it's a long joke.
Is it essentially something like
it's like
that?
it's basically
like an
the
incest
exact
joke?
same thing. It's
Yeah.
like a big incest joke, but it's
We
so
should spend
stupid.
more time with
Do
the
you-
kids.
Yeah.
It's interesting too that he has two sisters, but they didn't want to be in the documentary.
Yeah,
I wonder-
That is really interesting too, just because they're all like, they're like weird with women.
They were
Yeah.
and they were also in the club as when they're like all the siblings were in the comic book club, whatever the fuck it was called. I forget what it was called.
It makes you wonder too, because like a lot of his drawings, like the way they depict women, they're like there's like really muscular women.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
You know?
He's always small. He's childlike.
Mm-hmm. And
That was crazy too when it would like cut from like the image of him riding, like piggyback riding, just like the drawing.
Mhm.
Then he was
And
actually
doing in real life.
like
yeah.
that was it was.
It's strange that somebody could like.
It's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
then there's like he even gets into like that Playboy shoot.
the porn girlfriend where she's you remember
Yeah.
she's like I think he has one of the largest penises in the world.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing too, because it's like he was kind of just, well, it seems like he's like a largely like unhappy person
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
way, but like he was. It's not like he had like success with women too.
Because of his fame.
Yeah,
Because of his
yeah.
fame. Like I mean, like.
They liked his drawings. They all said.
Yeah.
Or when he drew them.
Mm-hmm. Like he wouldn't. Like if he couldn't draw, I mean, he wouldn't have his fame, and he'd be just like.
He'd be like the brothers.
He'd be like the brothers,
Yeah.
you know. It's like it's hardcore. Just like he was like just an incel that found fame, basically, you know. And that gave him value, you know. What was it? But CJ also said 6 weeks to pass the full string, right? For the brother fucking smallest string. I think it's crazy that you could just have it in his mouth and like still talk and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm, like,
Like
kinda
it's in
big
your
swallowing,
throat. It's in
yeah.
your colon and your throat and all at the
Oh.
same.
What do you
You-
think? Sorry, you can go.
Or the shoelace was in like a cup of water, and then he takes the shoelace out and he takes a sip of the water before he puts it in his mouth. It was I don't know. It's crazy.
It seemed like a lot of it came from like their dad. They were really upset with their dad.
Yeah.
Their dad seemed like an asshole.
And then
They all call him a bully.
yeah.
They call him a tyrant.
The mom was still around. There's like one
Mhm.
scene with
Yeah.
her where she's like on the couch.
Yeah.
It's not like they're not talking about anything.
She reminded me
like
of
Jump Away.
Busha.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Busha. John came over the other day, and I didn't know John was gonna do this, but he called her Busha, and that like made her day.
For real?
Yeah. that was
Damn, we
pretty
should all
cool.
call her Busha.
Yeah, call
She
her
was
Busha.
walking
She'll
like
that.
Busha, Busha, Busha.
She'll go crazy.
For
She'll like
She's
that.
like Willie. She'll start
Yeah.
freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah, ears perking all that.
CJ said that headless woman comic reminded me of that scene of Betty Boop, the old man of the mountain. Crumb stuff is more disturbing, of course, but that scene came out like 10 years before he was born, and it gave the same vibe. Crumb brings up that the mom used to threaten the kids with enemas, and then the mom says, "I never tried to give you an enema," and Crumb is like, "Well, somebody did when I was young." That's fucked up.
Maybe that's where some of that comes from too.
Yeah.
That
Oh sweet! I don't know if Elwood's still in there. He bought some new headphones. So congratulations, Elwood.
Good job, Elwood. You got new headphones.
Thanks for the mics, Elwood.
The
Shoot.
singing mics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. The
Or-
live mics.
yeah,
live
yeah.
mics. Yeah, the live mics were good. He re-edited that little edit. I showed you. He re-edited some parts.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I gave him some feedback. Like not even like. I feel like there wasn't like a lot of feedback to give. I was just like, just this one part. It's like kind of nitpicky, but like he wants feedback. He's like, all right, just this one part, and so he added a few other stuff. And I was like, it's cool. It's pretty cool. I need to tell him it's good. But he's not here right now because to avoid spoilers. But what else?
It was interesting how like his old girlfriends like were cool with being interviewed
Yeah.
and stuff. Cause that was like the one thing too. Like he never looks particularly sad.
He's smiling. And
He's
like,
always
every-
smiling, even if they're talking about like
Yeah.
really fucked up shit. And then like the other brothers are like that too, and maybe that's just the way they are, like because they know they're like filming something. But even like the brother who like the older brother, like he's talking about how was it implied that like he's never had like sex before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he says that at one point.
And then he's like laughing about it, and I don't know. That one seems a little different than like Robert Crumb, but it's almost like he's like looking at a retrospective of his life and just like laughing at it.
Yeah.
you know?
It's really sad that he commits suicide after. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it's like shortly after filming.
Yeah, I heard something like it took like 9 years to make it.
Really?
I just read that on like an IMDb trivia. I don't know how accurate it is, but there's a criterion for it I saw.
For Crumb?
Yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
I didn't know that either.
But like Terry
Zweigoff.
Zweigoff, it was like he was living on like $200 like a month or some ridiculous amount of money to like make the movie, and it was kind of tough, but he was friends with Robert Crumb and he kind of convinced him
That's cool.
to do it.
That's funny too that he had a wife, and the interview with her in comparison to like his ex-wife and all that stuff too, where because like it would cut to like an interview with the wife to him like piggyback riding some random lady. You know?
Yeah.
That was the thing too, where like there's like a part where they ask her like, how do you feel about him like fooling around with other women, and she's like, I fool around with other men.
Yeah.
But that comes after like the Playboy shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's just and then like he has kids.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and it's interesting too that
We're
like
talking about this list.
all the kids are very good at drawing too. But it's almost like out of necessity to communicate with their dad.
Mhm.
You know, like if they couldn't draw, he probably wouldn't even pay them any attention.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the son said is like it's hard to get any like affection out of him. So it's like he didn't even want a fucking
Yeah,
handshake. Or
sometimes
whatever.
I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
That
Like-
sorry.
I was say like he can't do that. Like the only way to bond with his dad is to fucking draw.
That was weird too, because the brother or the son said like that, like Robert Crumb disappeared for like a good portion of his life, and then that's weird too for him to even like show up in the documentary
Yeah.
where it's.
It's
I don't
interesting.
know.
He's so old too. He must be. Looks like he's in his 20s.
Yeah. Yeah, Crumb looks really
Yeah.
good compared to his brothers for sure as well. Sorry, CJ just sent something super fucking. He said, "Yeah, I noticed the woman would be talking about the comics, and how they are saying they think some of the comics are harmful, and he's just smiling super hard while they're frustrated."
What'd you?
He said it's like he gets off on it or something. And he did say in the movie that he hates women.
Yeah, he says
he
that.
hates women like a little bit less now. And then there's some of the women. Kate hated this part when we were watching it. She was like, "There's one woman who said like, oh, like he depicts women so accurately.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like so honestly. They're so strong and brave." And Kate's like, "This woman, she's a fucking idiot."
There was like one part where he was talking to like they were interviewing some like girl he knew, and she was talking about some drawing he did of her, and she's like, yeah, this really felt like the way I looked. But then like you kind of see the way she looks, and it's like he didn't draw you. You know, like it was very exaggerated.
Or it's funny that he'll also add him to all the drawings too of the women.
Mm. But that's a big thing with like incels. They're just like a lot of anger towards women for not like fucking them.
Yeah.
You know, like, and especially in the way society treats like the way they give men advice, like, oh, be yourself, be nice. Especially like growing up, I feel like in the 2000s, especially with like the way they talk about like treating women and stuff, you know, and like being like totally nice to them and like treating them like like they're perfect people all the time.
But
And
it's like a little simpy.
Yeah, exactly. It's simpy, but it's like that's not like honestly like how attraction works, you know.
Yeah.
It's not how attraction works. And so, especially nowadays with like Simpson fucking like it's what the fuck is it called? OnlyFans. A lot of people fall victim to that. But I don't know, it just reminded me of that. Like the hatred towards women is a lot towards reminds me of the incels we see nowadays. But like he had an outlet to like channel his anger and like self-reflect what he was feeling, and you could see that a lot in his drawings.
Yeah, it worked for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting that he like still hates women.
Despite
Even-
having like success.
Yeah. It's like that just like was something he couldn't get out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
I mean, he went like all of high school without like getting any attention from anybody. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say like he just hated women. Like he, like those people moving his shit.
he hates people.
Like he hates this. Like when the people moving his shit. He's like, look at these fucking jocks are gonna like ruin my record collection.
Remember, he was walking down the street and somebody had a boombox and he just like gave him like the side eye.
Yeah, they're playing Beastie Boys or some shit.
But it's like it's certain things like that where he seems like he's disgusted by the human race, to be honest.
But he also doesn't seem like he likes himself.
Yeah.
No,
So it's just like
I like the part where he's like walking through like I don't know, like some like some little like some street, and there's just like a lot of people wearing like really 90s shit, you know.
Mhm.
And he's like, there's people just going on running like fucking like advertisements all the time. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
that
exactly.
part was pretty interesting,
Mhm.
where he was talking about how like society is like very consumeristic.
Mhm.
I like that part.
It's interesting too, because isn't his favorite music just like classical music or like
Mhm.
piano
Probably,
music?
Like
yeah, I think-
20s and 30s.
Yeah, he
stuff.
said like it's a goofy period of time though, like the 1920s sort
Mhm.
of
The swing era.
yeah, but it's not even real swing. It's just it's like a parlor music. It's
Oh, really?
this is like parlor music. But he talks about like that was the last time that people could really express themselves in any sort of true way in music. It was funny. But have you guys seen Ghost World?
Mm-mm.
I have, yeah.
It's not really a spoiler, but
Steve Buscemi.
yeah, Steve Buscemi's in the movie, and his character is similar to Robert
Mhm.
Crumb in that
Okay.
he can't really connect to the current times, and all he does is listen to old music. And
Mm.
I wonder if he got that just from.
I can see that now. I didn't make the connection till you brought it up just now. But I definitely see like his character's very like kind of like an old incel type of dude.
It goes through, I guess, like where are the sections of the film, kind of.
It starts out with how the fuck does it start?
It starts with him. He like says something about like when
He's
he's
drawing
drawing, he's
something,
like
yeah.
suicidal, kind of.
I think it's like he's drawing like a picture of like a camera, right, or something like that. I forget what it was.
It starts out like in his office or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
It doesn't seem like it kind of flows a little.
it takes a while before you really get introduced to the rest of his family. It's
Mhm.
I would say like the first like third of the movie is
Yeah.
mostly just about him, maybe like his career or his popularity. You see a lot of like his work and
Mhm.
whatnot, and I think he talks about just like his story of like
Mhm.
he was just drawing.
Yeah.
Then he took a lot of
Yeah,
he
yeah.
took a lot of psychedelics or acid.
Mhm.
It was just drawing during that, and that's how he got his first
Mhm.
job.
There's that part where they like he's on stage and like introduces what he's done.
Oh,
like, He's like,
yeah.
I've done Fritz the Cat. He made one of the album covers for Big Brother and Holding Company, which is the band Janis Joplin was in.
That
and
was
today,
cool.
dude, my coworker Marge, who's old, I was like, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, I don't really listen to any music nowadays, but like back then, I was like, oh, I was seeing like Big Brother and Holding Company in person and shit. I'm like, you saw Janis Joplin
That's
live?
cool.
And she's like, yeah, I saw her live. And our manager came out. He's like, he's freaking out because I saw Janis Joplin. That shit, yeah, I've seen that album cover so many times, and I'm like, holy shit, I never realized that he made that.
You got offered Rolling Stone cover.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it. Janice, remember there's a part where he says like Janis Joplin said something to him? Do you
Yeah,
remember what it
because he was talking about how he couldn't get women, and she's like, just like, oh, you can do just fine. Like, Robert, just go out and grow your hair, and you'll do all right. And some shit like that. It was the 60s, so like all the hippies had long hair. And he's like, no.
And then I think maybe you get introduced to a few of his relationships. You find out that he's moving to France,
Mm.
and then
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
and then it kind of gets more into his family, and then it's bouncing back from that.
What'd you think of how his brothers started just doing like that scribbling shit?
I thought that was pretty cool.
Or not shit, but like.
Have you seen Prisoners?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
how
a little
the,
like
the guy who
that.
makes the little
Mhm.
maze thing? You seen Prisoners?
Mm.
Check it out. It's pretty
That's
cool.
what
It was kind of cool because like, it did kind of look like writing, or like, not like, like you know when you're like reading a comic book or like you see a picture.
It looked like
or,
it was in a specific sort of font or like.
It's like it looks like font that should be like in a comic book. It's like when you're reading a comic book and the character's reading a comic book. I thought it looked cool, sort of, but it was kind of weird because like he had to be crazy. He was crazy to do something like that, kind of.
All the stuff they do looks pretty cool though. Like even like
Yeah.
the wrinkle stuff, or even that one.
wrinkle.
The wrinkle thing was cool. That one part where he shows like the test they took to like get into like a school or whatever to take a course, and they show the test that Charles did, where it's like they like draw this, or like draw the textures on the tree, and Charles just drew like a bunch of lines, like kind of like this weird like line wrinkle technique, and just was like breaking every rule in the fucking book. That part
And
was
then they
pretty
didn't
cool.
like call him back or anything.
No, they came to drop off like the results, and like the dude dropping it off wouldn't look at Charles in the
Oh,
eye or
yeah,
some
yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Let's see. CJ said, "It's interesting to see Robert and his brother talking about his insanity and his meds he's taking, and Robert is laughing while hearing negative things and just showing no worry, just watching that his family is insane." Yeah, he does seem like pretty.
Everyone's just like,
Yeah, he's like,
they
it's
act
whatever.
like
Yeah,
they're
it's like
okay
even
with
when he's
it at
moving
least.
away, he's like, "Don't you care?" They ask him like, "Don't you care about like you're leaving a bunch of people?" And he's like, "Not really." Like he literally says like, "Not really."
It makes you think about like how he would have reacted to like hearing his brother die.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it's tough. Because that's where I guess I just think too about how genuine his reactions are in the movie. Like, would he be this way if there wasn't?
I
a
wonder if
camera?
he's ever cried. Like.
Oh yeah.
Well, there was
probably.
something you guys were talking about earlier about like the son and how the son won't even like shake his hand, but he said something like Robert Crumb can't give like physical emotion to people, which is
like physical affection.
yeah.
I mean, I've
At
the
least
way
to, like-
the way they describe his personality is like he's always drawing.
Yeah.
like literally always.
His
fucking
ex-wife
drawing.
said that when she introduced him to her mother, he was just drawing the whole time and never looked up.
Yeah,
once.
they thought he was autistic.
Yeah.
That was the thing too. He like married the first girl that he like had like any romance with. He's still alive.
Yeah.
His daughter, she's a artist
good.
now too. She makes her own graphic novel. But she's French, or she speaks French now because they moved to France.
Oh shit. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Oh yeah, and his wife, she was an artist too, right? She
She made some comic
It's
books.
like everyone he was around drew
yeah.
Mhm.
for the most part.
There's that part when they're all like in the living room watching TV, but they're all just drawing.
Yeah, that's fucking sick. Yeah, CJ kind of draws. He used to go and do graffiti.
Oh, nice.
No, he showed. I remember when we were working. He's like, I was like, "Can I see your tag?" He's like, "Oh man, I haven't practiced in a while. It's gonna look like shit." And he drew on a piece of paper. Yeah. What else with the movie?
Honestly, when they showed the two his brothers like drawings and stuff, I honestly found their stuff to be just as, if not more, interesting than
Yeah.
Robert's. It's almost like he was like, in a sense, the least complex, so he was the most palatable to
Yeah.
like, maybe the public.
Charles's drawings were actually really cool. I like the. They did say he didn't really go over stuff with pen though, which is like that makes it what's the word? It won't last as long.
Yeah.
Like pencil marks go away quicker. But yeah, he had like those Treasure Island like comics or whatever. Those were really cool.
That was an interesting thing with the brother. The brother had like a crush on Jack Driscoll or something, the dude from Treasure Island.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was weird.
Yeah.
The part CJ already kind of mentioned it, but the part where he's Robert Crumb's talking about how he had a crush on like Bugs Bunny.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And he's like, I don't know, it's fucking weird.
I wonder how he felt about when Space Jam came out and then they had Lola Bunny.
He probably creamed his fucking pants. Probably just drawn Lola Bunny on the back, like
That's like what he did. He just drew and masturbated.
probably yeah.
There was like a part where they said he like jacked off like 4 or 5 times a day.
Shit, fuck. His glasses are thick too, man. Like
Yeah, his
Yeah.
eyes look huge.
he's like the fuck. You can always see like some flare going or some light fucked up going on in his glasses. I do like the later comic books that Charles did, like with that weird wrinkle technique. They look pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's trippy. Do I still have that tag you gave me? I think I put it in my wallet. I don't know if I still have it. I'd have to look through my wallet. I haven't cleaned it out in a little bit. I might still have it. I don't know. If I find it, I'll let you know.
It'd be cool to. Do you think it'd be cool to see him like animate a movie or something?
Animating's
Like, how much different would that be? I guess.
it wouldn't be as detailed for sure.
Mm.
Like you lose so much of there's so much more detail in like comic books because just one single frame to communicate what's happening, like to communicate the motion or to have somebody talking. Whereas like to have moving images, like you need the 24 frames. To communicate that. So like they skip a lot of corners with the drawing sometimes in animation just to like
Save
keep
time.
the time and budget. Yeah.
I liked the part when he was talking about how he takes photos or he goes around to like urban areas to get certain details.
That part was cool as fuck.
Like
yeah.
the way that like light poles just get added and shit gets added and added. He's like, that stuff you really just can't create. You just have to replicate it. And then it was cool seeing those images and then seeing how he kind of like collages those together, to make one like sort of scene. That was cool.
Yeah, especially for drawing shit like drawing a simple street, like you get stumped by like shit like that. So I could relate to that part a lot. I remember also thinking that part, like I wonder if you could do that for editing too. Like I don't know how it'd be I don't know how it'd be possible. You have to really rethink what you're editing. Like it almost feels like animation at that point. But
I guess it's like in editing, I think a lot of times maybe you're just like translating the script in terms of putting it together. But maybe if you actually like take a second to like see what you've actually got,
Right.
maybe it's written a certain way and it's supposed to be sequenced a certain way. But now that you've actually shot it and it might have to actually go a different way. And
Right,
that
yeah.
might be a similar thing to the reference and whatnot.
But yeah, that part was cool. I also just liked any part where they show him drawing, like
Yeah,
seeing
I
people
do.
draw who are like professional at it. The way they treat lines and stuff. Is really,
It looks so easy.
Yeah.
It looked like he did pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, if you've been drawing like
It's just like
him,
second nature.
yeah, it's like he draws like it seems like almost like every hour, at least once an hour.
Wow.
I can't imagine how good he is at just like understanding like perspective. Like he's very, at least the level I'm at with like drawing, like understand perspective, but like understanding the perspective the way he sees it is very like that one lady they were trying to draw with him and his son
so
drawing.
just
like,
the way they were talking about the lip
the
in
lip
terms
is
of
the sneer, right?
Yeah, evoking the emotion.
And then like he said, like there's like he got the tilt right in the head, and the tilt is like so fucking subtle. It's like it's so hard to get that right because you need to understand how to like size things, and
Yeah.
like you're not just like drawing like a circle, like you can't just size it like that. You're understanding like how the shading looks and like how the shading affects like the tilt of the head and all that bullshit. CJ said that his dad would make him draw the houses that they were selling. I just imagine the people seeing those pictures he drew as ads in the paper and not knowing Child's Crumb drew them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was funny too when he started getting the jobs and his dad was really proud of him. Then until he finally saw what his
Yeah, he never talked to him
what
again.
Robert was drawing, and then he never spoke to him again.
That's fucked up. Oh, that reminds me of what you said about the sisters, how they didn't want to do the interviews. I was thinking, as soon as I saw that line, I was thinking almost like, I don't know if they didn't, like you said, like maybe it could be because of how they view women, and it could be, but I know there's a lot of places where they could be with that. I'm sure there's like some interviews out there that, or they may have given some information as to
They
why.
didn't even really talk about the sisters.
No, not at all.
So
I almost have theorized maybe they have like husbands who like hardcore hate the family or some shit because they're all like kind of freaks,
yeah, maybe.
and they're just like, no, you shouldn't be in this.
Or there was just like weird shit that happened.
Yeah, I feel
between
like
them.
maybe
Yeah.
they just didn't want to talk about certain things.
Oh, like maybe they
Yeah.
like molested the sisters or some
yeah,
shit.
like
yeah.
that's how
Yeah.
that's how I like.
Yeah, I didn't
especially
think
from like
about
the
that.
Joe Blow comic thing is like that. I felt like maybe it was from experience.
And then
Yeah.
too, it just like, to a certain extent, you do. they're like that whole like laughing personality where like everything's a joke kind of. That probably is like the way they are sometimes, and they're just like, I don't know.
They're like
Their sisters. I could imagine like not liking that.
like they're talking about like
Just
how they were
saying.
molested. And they're just like, I remember that time I molested you.
Yeah,
It's
you know,
fucking so
if
stupid.
that's like what the case was.
It sounds like a lot of painful memories.
Yeah, they lived like rough lives
Mhm,
for
yeah.
sure.
It's those fucking
Post-World
war
War
veteran
II.
dads.
Yeah.
It was interesting how he was saying like in the 50s like everything was kind of like boring and flat, but because these people lived through like hell,
Right.
you
yeah.
know, like the Depression and then World War II, and like you needed World War II to get out of the Depression, but now it's like
To get out of the depression, you need the 50s. Like, you know, you still have that.
Mm.
You seek that sort of comfort that is like,
things don't have to be special, they just have to be like not awful.
yeah, you need consistency,
Yeah, and then it's like
security.
that's like really interesting because when you're growing up in that, there's like a level of it, like you don't like that, you know. It to a lot of people, I can see why they wouldn't like that. It seems like the Crumbs didn't really like that, but like that for their parents, that's like the way like they want things to be.
Yeah.
And then that's maybe like that makes sense why in the 60s like a bunch of shit changed because people got kind of tired of
Just
it.
bored of it.
Yeah.
My grandma, her dad was a war vet, and I mean her parents were just complete douchebags. So she's got some fucked up stories, like they beat her and stuff, and they're like constantly drunk, and like they wouldn't feed her and stuff. So now like her favorite food is ice cream because that's all she would eat as a child. Just fucked up shit like that. CJ said, he's talking about when the younger brother, he kept opening the bathroom door to his naked sister, and had a seizure when he explained that. I was like, what the fuck? Like just imagining that going on in a house. Yeah, that's like I forgot about that part. I didn't realize that they were talking about the sister, but that makes more sense why they didn't want to be in the.
They said the
Like, no,
dad
for
beat
sure.
them like rather constantly.
They said mostly the
Right.
older brother got like the most beatings. Yeah,
Okay.
which, I mean,
And
for as fucked up as they were, they're pretty coherent with the way they spoke, and I almost like attribute that mostly to, like, just reading. Like it seems like they read a fucking lot.
It was interesting that the oldest brother started rereading all those old books too.
Yeah.
It seems like we were talking yesterday about like brain plasticity, neuroplasticity, and it seemed like theirs is got like more stuck than maybe the average person. And that's like why Robert just listened to the same music.
Yeah.
And then his brother just read the same books, and you know, and they get stuck in their ways of how they
Yeah.
view women or just the world and how they draw, right?
They spent like the first 18 years of their lives like hating women, you know.
Oh.
So it's like, and plus, you know, they're not exercising or anything or eating right, probably.
They were all like rather like good-looking people when they were younger.
They weren't
Yeah.
They weren't
Yeah.
super ugly. Yeah.
There was like that thing where he drew a comic of his brother getting beat up though.
By
Yeah,
what's his name,
that's,
Scud or whatever.
Scutch.
Scutch.
That was a
yeah.
cool name.
That story was so funny too. It feels like it must have been so deflating for the brother.
Yeah.
And then your brother draws it in a comic.
Yeah, like super well.
And then he's probably like laughing at it, like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. Oh fuck! What I was gonna say about it? Oh, we were talking about neuroplasticity.
Robert Crumb almost seems like he'd be like a drug user.
He did use LSD.
Yeah, but like,
He was dropping acid.
I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I don't know if I wanted to go down that
Oh,
way.
you're all good. I like that part where he's talking about how he took acid and how it affected the way he drew. And he's
That
drawing,
was
like
cool.
really cartoony characters with like big feet, and like he was drawing like all these cartoon characters marching, and he was like, this one girl was watching me draw, and she was laughing like, "Oh, look at this, look at that," but he was like,
It was
looked like
horrifying.
it was like looked like a horror show to him, and it was like
Oh.
terrifying.
It like the LSD stuff was like actually like pretty.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, like just the way he draws is so cool. It's very detailed. He does a lot of in drawing, it's like this. It's this one way of shading called cross hatching, which is like where you just cross lines and stuff, and you layer it in. And he's like stupid good at it. He's just ridiculously good at drawing.
What did you think about the parts where they kind of like interview the women talking about like stuff like Joe Blow?
Oh, where they're like
Some of them
I like
didn't
that.
like
That
it.
part was cool. I like seeing the different perspectives. Like people who mostly enjoyed like his mainstream stuff, like the stuff that was popular, and then they turn to a page like Joe Blow, and they were just like, they hated it. Like they were frustrated as fuck. But they didn't. But like, they're also the type of woman who like they stop and like think about it. It's like, well, he can make all this other stuff. Like I'm gonna think about this. You know, like so they're explaining like, almost like trying to explain his perspective on it. I thought that was interesting. Like trying to cut him some slack instead of like, you know, like cancel culture nowadays. Like I feel like a lot of people nowadays wouldn't try to like stop and like understand like what
Somebody's doing.
Yeah. It's like they just see like, oh, this guy's evil. Like cut this guy off. Fuck that. But they try to understand him, and you know it impacted like a lot of the drawing art scene and the 60s and 70s. You know,
There was a context with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially understanding who he is. It's like,
I don't know. That's what that guy's gonna do.
yeah, he's gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
Like and he even says that he's like, I was just doing what I would have done.
One of the ladies said something interesting where it's like she thought it's dangerous to have that stuff published. Like she basically said she thought people might act on it.
Having the fantasies, like especially the one without the head, right?
Yeah.
That's true, but there's also that part in the comic where it's like he doesn't reward the characters either. Where it's like he fucks the headless lady, but then he's so guilt-ridden that he takes her back, and they pull the head out from, like, you know, it gets a little slapsticky, and then she like tries to kill them.
Yeah, it's like it becomes like situational comedy where it's almost like Curb Your Enthusiasm or something where it like.
But like super dark though,
yeah.
you know, like super dark incel, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, you know. So it's like, sure, it's like super fucked up, and if done with a little bit more edge, probably wouldn't be warranted or justifiable in any way. But I guess the way he handled it is, I mean, he even was gonna throw it away, but like he was persuaded by his wife to continue it, and you know he's like, and she's a woman, and so like, fuck it, I'll do it, you know.
It was like satire.
It was it is satire, but
it was like dark satire.
Yeah,
but
it seemed like he knew what he was doing, kind of like he knew when something was fucked up. You know, like he knew when like what he was drawing was like
too much.
Too much, yeah.
Imagine all the stuff he draws that you don't see.
Yeah, like
that's
his
exactly.
sketchbooks and stuff.
That's got to be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like he said he jacks off to like
His own
drawings. And I imagine like some of that includes the stuff that everyone else sees. So like there's gotta be points where he just like draws something so he can like probably like come on it or something.
That's part of the drawing.
Do you think you ever turned in like a drawing with like a cum stain on it, like didn't say anything?
That'd be funny.
Let's see. Anything
He
else?
just like hands the teacher the drawing and just like laughs.
I like the parts when, I forget which one of his girlfriends, they were just talking about how his drawings were just like not good for society, and then it cuts over to him and he's just like, like he doesn't want to hear it.
He was talking to like one of the girlfriends, and she was like kind of talking about like why he was a bad boyfriend, and then he kind of says something like along the lines of like, I don't know what I did wrong.
He's kind of a funny character.
And then he's like still holding her and stuff.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
I do like how he talks, or even like
Yeah.
how the brothers talk. Just like you could tell, especially people back then, they talked kind of like they read, you know, like their brains like hardwired to like read, or they read a lot of books. Whereas like nowadays, I can really tell that people were like talking with a brain that's like hardwired to like watch movies and videos and shit, and like consume social media. Like people just don't talk the same way.
His brother, the older one, like you could always hear the commas.
Yeah.
Like he like had a lot of like breaths.
Mm-hmm. Was that a comma?
I mean, yes. Read the comma.
Anything else with Crumb you guys want to discuss?
I read something on Wikipedia that says like one of the best documentaries of all time. Is that like something people say, or is that just?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
I mean, Jordan,
It was very.
Jordan
yeah.
Peterson liked it.
Yeah, it's definitely like an incel movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's good.
Old school incel. Yeah.
That had to be like, in a way, for the director too, to always be around that.
Mm-hmm.
Like for like however long it took to make it, you're always in this kind of, in a way, like this negative aroma in the air.
Yeah, I guess when you come out on the other side, you got to take a moment just to be like, I don't want to really make anything, you know.
And it's like really great, and like, you know, a lot of people saw it and probably praised it, but like, I guess the mental state of having to make that had to be. I mean, there's just like the shooting all of it and being around these people who are kind of like very depressing, and now you got to like edit all of what you shot.
Yeah.
And then one of them dies.
Yeah.
And then like you're editing, like one of them sits on nails and eats shoelaces. And then the other like draws pictures that he can jack off to.
Alright, CJ said, I think he had a fantasy about the headless woman, and instead of acting it out in person, he put it on paper, maybe even the Joe Blow. He had some sort of thing going on in the house like that, and was just a super desensitized guy overall. Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like there's just this type of humor was just like super fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when you're growing up like that, kind of like, it seems like they would be the type of people where they, well, maybe if that was like a way to deal with like some of the shit that happened with their family.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the older one who got beat kills himself.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure like all of them don't talk to the fucking dad anymore. And who knows what that younger one was doing to the sisters. For real, like going in the shower. Like, God, he's probably, that younger brother was probably so fucked up. God's like, this dude needs to have a seizure right here. he goes, he's like peeping at his sister, like taking a shower. And
God's watching.
Yeah, like God's like, dude, what the fuck?
He's like
Dude,
checking in on
imagine
it.
just being the sister, just like, it's like, fuck this guy. And then you like open the shower curtain, he's just like having a seizure.
I wonder if his brothers or like the younger brother would have watched the movie.
Yeah, I wonder what Crumb thinks about the movie as well, the documentary.
I feel like he probably likes it.
I think he likes it. I bet you it didn't feel like, I feel like it's a pretty neutral take on Crumb.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel
Yeah.
like in any way like they're trying to glorify or demonize him. They got both perspectives and stuff in the middle. It's pretty
Seems like
it's pretty solid.
he just like told the truth. Kinda. Tried to.
The only thing I wish about it is that I wish like it felt like the different sections of the documentary were more identifiable. Like thinking back
Yeah.
on it, it feels more of like a blur. Whereas like you know like a typical. I mean, I guess I don't watch enough documentaries, so I can't compare it to like a lot of documentaries I've seen. But like especially I think about like the 3-act structure or something like that. I don't know how much Terry knew about it, but that's the only thing I wish about like the editing.
Yeah, I guess like structurally it's a little incoherent.
Yeah.
You're kind of just moving from piece of information to piece of
Yeah.
information. But I guess I think about that with documentaries because that's the thing that like maybe you have a plan of how it should be structured, but really you gotta it's like when we did the gas station, you're just
You were
gonna
trying
kind
to
of
find it.
you go fishing and you kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
And I feel like I always wonder like how do you know I guess where or when to start, but more specifically when and where to end, because I would probably just film forever because like
Right.
it just feels. How do you know when you have enough?
It's
I
like
guess?
Boyhood.
Yeah.
Like a 2-decade-long project. CJ said, I had no recollection of who Crumb was before the movie, and I didn't read the description before watching, so I couldn't tell if it was an actor playing a real person. That's fucked up. And he said, I wonder who initiated making the documentary and what made them choose Robert Crumb. Did you say he was like friends with him or something like that?
They knew each other,
Yeah.
I think, and he kind of convinced him.
Yeah. And he wasn't like stupid famous, but he was like famous enough, you know. I mean, like he knew Janis Joplin, so
Yeah. People knew him.
people knew him. Yeah. All right. Anything else with Crumb before we move on to Cachet?
I gotta use the restroom.
All right,
bro.
for
We're
sure.
done.
Yeah, no problem. Is that your water, Elijah?
No.
Do you want to hand it to me? I'm like
Yeah.
dumb fuck thirsty.
Oh. I would watch that movie again. I'd like to get the Criterion 4 and check out the special features.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing like I like how they did some of the shots with like the magazines and the comics. How they had like they had all of them like set up on the ground like a big collage almost, like you couldn't see the surface it was on, and then they'd show them like dropping like the comic books on the floor, and you see the titles like pretty like perfectly well lit, you know, like there's no it's not overexposed at all. It's like perfectly lit. You can read everything that they're showing on the screen. I was pretty impressed with that. That's like
If you pause it, you could just read the comments.
exactly, yeah. That's hard to do. Like I forget which professor I was talking about that, whether who was talking about it, but putting stuff to read on screen is like retarded because the audience, like, it's hard for the audience to follow what the fuck is being spelled out on the screen. So the way that they were doing it here was pretty smart. I mean, like, you couldn't read everything obviously, but they lay it out so well that it's you can just tell it's like really accessible for the audience to
That's true.
understand like what's being shown to you almost.
We were talking about something in advanced directing with one of the costume designers like suggested a shirt that had like writing on it, and it's a little bit different. This is a little bit different, but like the costume design teacher is like, we probably don't want to do that just to like not distract like the audience at all, because then like too, if like the writing on it's kind of hard to read, then like the viewer's gonna try and read it,
Right,
and then they're
yeah.
not gonna get anything from it really. So in a way, like, it's kind of hard to do that, or you shouldn't. What you're saying, basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool that it was easy to read.
Yeah. I also think a lot of like costumes with like writing on it's kind of like, or just like shirts with writing on it is pretty stupid sometimes. Like most shirts.
Just like in
general,
Yeah.
yeah. Like it's really hard for me to like look at a shirt with writing on it and think like that's a cool fucking shirt.
And then it's like the shirts that do have writing on it, like the words are kind of big and it's like so like up front that it's like not like
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like this one guy came to the gas station today wearing a shirt that said like "assholes live forever."
yeah,
It's like
shit like that.
It's just dumb. I was like, what the fuck.
I think I have writing on this shirt, but it's not really the reason
Got the
I guess
shirt.
I like it. It says "Excuse me while I kiss the sky."
Fucking Jimi Hendrix, yeah.
But
CJ said, can you watch movies on stream or is it against TOS? I used to do I watched like 4 or 5 movies on stream like over a year ago, and we got away with it. I think and Twitch never gave me any shit for it, but we were also like pretty small still back then. I might do it. I might try it again because we set up like the projector and like we had like people like commenting on the stream as we're watching. Like we watched The Shining and like some other fucking movies. I think if we watch like smaller movies like YouTube, like movies that are free on YouTube, you could probably get away with for sure. But that'd be fun as fuck, just like having like a live watching, you know, or even doing like commentary on like one of our shorts or some shit like that.
That'd be great.
That'd be fun, or just commentary on like some random fucking movie we all like.
the Screen Tongue Film Festival.
Yeah, that'd be fun as fuck. And then like just I'd want to have chat up on that, you know, so like people could like watch the movie and like see what the fuck chat's saying. It said there is a first print Zap Comics #1 on eBay for $8,500. Jesus.
Dang.
I would just buy a new car with that money. Actually, I'd probably put that money towards like a
Stocks.
short, maybe stocks, but like maybe stocks if I wanted to grow it or potentially lose all of
Yeah.
it. Maybe crypto. CJ, fucking CJ. CJ was we were talking about crypto, and I was like, "Yo, are you investing in anything?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna invest in SHIB. I got a really good crypto friend, and we're gonna invest in Shiba coin." And I waited a bit to invest in it, and I invested like $200 in it, but it dipped down like quite a bit. And I went back to him. And I was like, "Yo, like Shiba went down." I was like, "Yeah, man, I lost like $200." That shit was fucked up. It was funny though. But yeah, do you guys want to rate Crumb?
Yeah, sure.
All right, who wants to go first?
Where do you go? Where do you go with Anthony?
I'll give it like a 7 out of 8. It was a great documentary.
7 out of 8,
It was fun. I'll probably go watch it again sometime
Yeah.
soon.
I thought we're moving on.
He had a big nose.
Yeah.
He had a big nose.
What
I
are
give
you
it like
trying to say?
8 out of 10.
What were you trying to say about the big nose?
The guy from Cachet had a big nose too.
And?
Damn. CJ gave it 9.3 out of 10.
Whoa.
He said it kept me interested the whole time. Fuck yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'd give it like an 8.6 out of 10. Yeah, 8.6. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more the second time for sure as well.
What other
It's a fun movie.
documentaries have we watched on the podcast? Is this isn't the first one. It feels like this isn't the first one.
I think I know I definitely recommended one. Oh fuck, what was it?
Landscape suicide.
Landscape Suicide,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
There's Landscape Suicide. There's
That's
one
sort of a
more.
documentary. I guess so.
That one's more of like an experiment, like experimental documentary almost.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? I feel like there was one more.
I don't think I recommended any.
No. Oh, that's gonna kill me.
I've
I'll
thought
probably remember
about it.
later.
Okay. For now, it's the first one.
Yeah.
Or, okay. Oh, yeah, so you did 2 in a row then, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. He said he's on a documentary kick.
Documentary?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
watching
Okay.
a whole bunch.
Then Cachet.
Cachet?
Cachet.
Cachet.
All
Cachet
right.
Cash.
I'd been thinking about this movie a little bit, and I really like Michael Haneke.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was either the second or third movie I'd seen from him, because I'd seen Funny Games a bunch of times and then heard more about some of his other movies, checked them out. I either saw this one second or The Piano Teacher second. Maybe I saw The Piano Teacher and then I wanted to come check this one out. And heard a lot of good things about it. But the first time I watched it, I don't think I really enjoyed it that much. Maybe I just didn't, I don't know. Maybe I just was expecting something else. I don't know. But anyways, ever since I watched it, I kind of heard more and more like good things about it, and more just about like why it's like interesting and what people appreciate about it. And wanted to recommend it again and see what you guys thought. I know you'd seen it before. You hadn't
First
seen it
time
before.
I've seen it, yeah.
So, just like an interesting film on its own, and then an interesting film in like Michael Haneke's career. And yeah, a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
So, what'd you think about seeing it for the first time, Norby?
First, like, instant reaction as soon as it ended was like, what the fuck, you know? I was like, what the fuck? I mean, not in like a bad way, you know, like, whenever I say what the fuck to a movie, that just like intrigues me, you know? I just want to like I would want to figure it out, you know? And so that's, you know, so the more I thought about the movie, the more I appreciated the process of thinking about it, you know? And I rewatched Funny Games 2 recently, so I saw an interview with Michael Haneke. I saved a bunch I gotta watch, just to see what his take on Funny Games was. You know, like have him explain it instead of like just thinking about it and like having my own answers for it. I want to see like the answers from the source. But he's definitely like the kind of guy who comes off as like, I want the audience to think about it. Like there's that thing I told you about with like Funny Games where like he'll have something happen. But then he'll really like milk the scene, you know, and like he'll like force the scene to go into like that awkward silence just to make the audience think about like what's happening, you know, like really like give like almost like provide them with like a sixth sense, you know, like a second entertainment, you know, to think about the movie. And this one definitely feels more like a puzzle than like Funny Games, where it's like I guess like really trying to piece together exactly how things are happening almost, you know.
Funny Games is almost like kind of like he's telling you something, and this is more like it's like he's showing you like some of the pieces of the puzzle, and now
He's asking you something instead of telling you something.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's interesting you bring that up though, Nor, because I was looking up a quote for Cachet in terms of how he was talking about it, and he was talking about how he loves books and novels because of how they lean towards the side of they're all more open to interpretation. Like we could all read the same book but maybe see it a little bit differently. And that was kind of his goal with Cachet in terms of like I want like 100 people to go to the theater to see this movie and each one have a different experience
That's interesting,
or have a different takeaway from it. And the movie really feels that way. This is only my second time seeing it, but it feels like a different watch. Just the second time, you're just curious to see how certain things play out in the beginning, because things like
that happened later
like the
on.
brother, or his his all that stuff. So great film.
What did you pick up on at this time that you didn't notice the first time?
The biggest thing is that the first time I saw it, I didn't realize that the last shot when it's at the school that the two sons meet up. You know what I mean? I saw that this time. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, I didn't realize that at all. Wow.
No, it's fucking like the first time I watched it, like you just think the last shot's just of the school.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of just like doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
I knew there was something happening, but
then
I was just like, I didn't realize that.
That's the great thing about it too, because like the camera doesn't move at all, and there's so many fucking people coming out that like you can't. It just like.
Where's Waldo?
Yeah, exactly. And then, it's basically like the son of Majid comes out of like the right hand corner. He just walks up there, brings the kid down. They walk to like the bottom left hand corner. And nothing special really happens. You can tell they're talking, but they're not really like.
It's not like he's giving them some like sort of revelation of information.
They're like talking like they're friends.
Yeah,
it's
like
almost
they're
like
familiar
before
with
he
each
sees
other.
them, he goes like this or something.
Yeah.
And then they like walk away.
It's
And
hidden.
It's weird to think of that too in relation to like certain things that happened before, like when the kid goes missing and all that. It's like,
Yeah, like that could be like the same night or the same day.
or I guess before we get too much into all that stuff, what do you guys think? Who did it?
Okay.
Who was?
Like who's giving out the tapes?
Yeah.
I was talking to Elijah about it, and he said Roger Ebert said there's like a smoking gun. So like I didn't know about any of that stuff before. So first reaction was just like I just imagine it being like almost like a fourth wall break, where it's almost like Michael Haneke's like the one giving him the tapes, like he's writing it for the character.
okay.
Who do you think?
You don't think it's an actual person?
Or
Because like, okay, the way I like.
are you asking me? Do I not think it's an actual person or like an actual character?
Because it's like, I feel there's an aspect to it where you're not really supposed. It's not really supposed to matter who it is.
Yeah,
There's that
exactly,
aspect where it's like, it's not about who's doing it. Then there's also the aspect like within the actual like plot where you are trying to figure out who it is. So I feel like that's like the one side of it where it's like the director because he's like telling you focus on other stuff.
Yeah.
What about like, do you think there's actually like plot wise though someone who could be
Like of
orchestrating
like the sort of like, because like there's certain details that are very specific to like why have this scene or cut to a certain person, where at least for me I have somebody that I feel like.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could make sense for like a few characters, but I don't know. I feel almost like doing that makes it, and which is why I'm glad it's hidden. It almost like revealing that makes it too easy, That's how I feel about it almost.
It's yeah.
It feels
I
like
know
it feels
what
too
you mean.
easy to make it like a character in the plot. I almost like it better as like it literally is Michael Haneke writing the fucking movie. Like he literally is giving the character the tapes.
They
it's
like
not-
don't know they're in a movie.
Yeah, they don't know they're in a movie. Almost like the people
very
in
meta.
funny games, Like I like that explanation better because it's just like it's getting the audience to think about a movie less in like as a movie and trying to make the characters in the movie like actual like nonfiction, like bring them to the real world, which is like the aim of like which is why I like respect the idea of like somebody who does meta like properly.
This is like the good way to do
There's
it.
like this is like not necessarily the best way, but like he's aiming for like he's like they're going in the right direction as to like where I'd like meta to go,
In that regard, I almost feel like that's more clever than the way they do it in funny games.
Yeah,
because
agree.
in funny games, like it's still cool, but it's like
It's very on the nose.
yeah. And this, it's like you think about it for a second, and I guess I'll go, and then I want to hear. I saw it the first time I saw it. I like kind of didn't really think too much about like who it was, kind of like what Norby said. It was more like that idea where it's like it doesn't matter too much who it is. This time, I almost feel like it's the main character.
You think so?
That's pretty interesting.
He's like sending him to himself.
Why do you think that?
Okay, so there's multiple instances where he's like not completely honest with other
that's
characters.
like throughout the movie.
You know, he lies to his wife. He's not. I don't know if I would say he's lying to his mom, but he's not being honest with her. He's not being completely honest with her. He's kind of like wishy-washy with his boss. He doesn't really talk too much with his son, but there's like a scene where they're in the car together, and it's like there's this awkward tension between them. He's really, maybe in a way, if he's sending the tapes to himself, he's like lying to like the Majid guy too. So he could just be like a really like, that's like what he just lies to people.
It'd be interesting to understand why he's choosing to like sabotage himself.
Why?
Or like even as a child, he was a liar, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole reason Majid got sent away. He was telling lies.
That's the thing too. So I went into it knowing about the whole Roger Ebert thing.
Right.
So
Okay.
the timestamp that Roger Ebert says to watch on the DVD is 2039. Now, a long time ago, like I looked that up and tried to see like, I tried to basically look up like a YouTube explainer for it, you know, and I couldn't find anything, but I remember finding something on Reddit, and Reddit basically said, I was telling Norby about this. Reddit basically said like the timestamp that Roger Ebert was looking for was wrong or something like
Old people, dude.
or it's like Roger Ebert had like a different copy of the DVD or some shit. That's what like the person on Reddit was trying to say. I don't think that's true though, because 2039 I was watching it on Amazon. At 2039, that's the scene where he's coughing up blood. When the little kid, when young Majid is coughing up blood, and it's just like this kind of like, I guess compared to like the other shots, like kind of this rather short tracking shot of just like a dark room at night.
And it turns a corner, right?
Turns the corner,
Yeah.
and then like kid coughs blood.
It's
and
the
he looks
first
at
dream
the camera.
sequence, right?
Yes, and I don't know if that's the one where I don't think that's the one where he wakes up in the middle of the night. And I forget the shots that precede it and follow it. But essentially like okay, Roger Ebert said like he thinks he figures out like this is like the scene that ties the movie together. Where he's like coughing up blood, and that's like something that the main character tells his parents about. But essentially knowing that he's a liar is like knowing that he lied about that. So he's like lying about that guy being like an issue in his life. So that guy's like a scapegoat. So that's like a reason that he can blame for why he's doing this.
Just the fact that the tape was even in Majid's place, you know, and it wasn't Majid, you know.
He knew where, or like it.
How would the tape get there?
Yeah.
Well, how would
who set up the camera?
because he would know he's there somehow. Then that it does like, I don't know if it's like completely consistent, but that's the way I thought about it now, where it's like he lies about a bunch of shit. He lied about like Majid when he was younger, and he just like found a way to almost like reverse blackmail himself by like pretending this guy was blackmailing him, but really it's him like setting it up. So then that would just mean he knows like a lot about. He's like really, there's like a lot of stuff that you don't see that he like knows. And then it also makes me think it might be him, because at the end, like he calls his wife and he says something like, when my son gets home, tell him like his poor old dad is like tired. And then he just goes into his room and like really calmly gets undressed. He doesn't seem like upset or anything.
He takes a sleeping pill or something, right? Or
Yeah, and he just goes to bed like really calmly.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a lot of stuff kind of doesn't bother him too much. So I don't know. I'm not even necessarily trying to say like that's like, I don't think it's necessarily right, but that's what I felt this time. So
I think it's an interesting take.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting take.
I feel like both of your guys are way better than.
No.
I always thought it was the friend, the one who Julia Binoche's character goes have lunch with, you know, and it's implied. But it was always because early on when they have the dinner party, and then they tell the guests that they have the tape and all that. It's just a long shot from the side, and everyone's very like intently listening to the story, except for that dude who's still just preparing his food and getting everything the whole time. And then the shot just holds the whole time, and the first person they cut to is him, just like, and it just stays on him for a while the other two characters are talking about how they're getting stalked by this fucking guy. And then it's just that in itself is a very strange thing to have. And then the other friend and like, you know, the guy who's telling the joke and his date or whatever, they never really come back in the movie, but for some reason him and his wife do for like
a few scenes
and it seems like obviously he goes have to lunch with the wife, Julia Binoche's character, and so they're close or not, but he never seems to really have any affection or be close to
George.
So I always felt it was, but it doesn't really make sense for how he would know certain things. But
that's an interesting perspective too, because there's like a scene where the son gets kind of like mad at his mom.
Yeah.
And in a way it almost seems like he's like being like fake mad at her. But
sorry, what?
Or it's like the son like implies that maybe they're having like an affair or something.
Yeah.
And then that's also something too that makes you think like how much stuff is happening that we aren't seeing.
That's how I felt this time watching it. The first time it felt like it was weird that the son was very confrontational about this, but then this time watching it, I almost feel like maybe we as an audience, we don't know that like she's just lying to her son, and we're just really witnessing like what the experience would be like to be lied to by your mother.
Then there's that scene where right in the dinner sequence where she says something like, "I'm not worried about like my husband cheating on me."
Like she's not one of those jealous.
She says something like, exactly what, and then like she starts talking about. Then that leads like the husband to get the tape out and explain it to everybody. And then there's the part where the dude, do you remember his name by any chance? Okay, he had a very visual face.
Which dude are you talking about?
The one who like is possibly cheating with Julia Binoche.
Gotcha.
He comes with his wife, and they're like trying to comfort Anne, and the wife's like, "Well, don't you not want to be left alone?" But then he's kind of like, "It's okay, let's go."
Yeah.
Almost like he knows kind of some extra information or something. It's definitely
I felt like every like dialogue interaction, like every edit, like everything that happened in the movie just like fell in line with the title pretty accurately, like hidden. I felt like there's no like you don't get any satisfying answers in this movie.
It makes you think about it though.
Exactly, yeah.
It like he gives you just enough where it's like it's almost like still impossible to solve, but he's given you enough where you almost like want your brain like tricks you into thinking like you can solve it a little bit.
Sometimes that's how I think of it too, where it's like he gives you just enough to be intrigued by the actual narrative that's going on. Where I feel like the movie is also kind of more of like a socio-political sort of thing about like shame and guilt, but like of countries. You know, there's the news on constantly. You know about like the Middle East and not just France, but like even the United States and their involvement over there. You know, and it's interesting too that he's in himself, like he works for the media. You know, he has a book review TV show, and then they get sent these videotapes, but all of that is almost like showing you that or in my interpretation this time watching it, it's like regardless of whatever information is out there, it's never enough, you know, because the only truth that actually really matters is personal truth. It's regardless of what is actually happening is real or not. If he believes that he's being harassed by this dude, he's going to live out that certain way, you know what I mean? And that's how all the characters are sort of like I feel like as a story are happening. And so I feel like it's like it's one of those things I think when you're talking about like meta and like how to do it correctly is that like in a sense I feel like the ultimate meta is that it couldn't just be a story about like characters knowing they're in a story. It has to have like some overarching sort of a meta thing that is it's about the real world, right? And that's the sort of connection to the fictional world to the real world. But in a sense, the best way to do it is to be, I guess, in a sense, avant-garde about it and not really spell it out for people so that we were talking yesterday. Norman and I were talking about because Jordan Peterson has actually gotten really into the Bible, and he was and he was talking about how like the Bible isn't just like a book; it's more like a library, of stories of all the stories, and it doesn't really necessarily matter if what's in the Bible is true because the fact that the Bible exists is you're able to figure out and comprehend truth through the context of these moral stories. You know what I mean? And in a sense, I feel like that's what like something that a meta narrative should do in the correct way, where it's like beyond the truth of this story. It's like it's allowing you to see the truth of like the world. So
that is like, oh my god, that was so cool, Anthony. Did you guys like? Have you read like some of like the inspiration behind Cachet? It's so cool that you said that because the whole Algerian war stuff, where like Majid's parents go off and they get killed.
Yeah.
He was like writing the script in like 2001, and he hears about this story about like the French-Algerian War in like 1961. And essentially what happened was there were all these demonstrators that went out, and there was like this big thing, kind of like a police brutality. I don't know if it was like demonstrators were getting hurt. And at the time they reported that only 3 people died, right? They go out. So this is in 1961. The French government basically failed to reveal to people that like 300 people died.
Whoa.
And this doesn't come out until like the late 90s.
Holy fuck.
So that's just like with what you were saying about how like
I feel like
whether or not like something's real or not, and like how you go on about living your lives, it's like that's where it's like the whole like kind of like the country guilt behind it, where he's talking to the mom about Majid, and she doesn't really want to talk about it. She's like, it's not really that happy of a memory. You see the scene near the end where like the kid tries running away, but they go back into the house, and it's just like this like guilty, then the son says like essentially like you have to have like on your conscience that you killed a man, and it ties back into this whole like kind of like the country thing where like France denied that this stuff happened to people, and then
it's like an allegory for that.
Yes, and then he's doing that right now in his life by denying, like he lies about everything. He lied about like what was happening to Majid. He's the reason like that guy's life kind of got fucked up and stuff, and he still doesn't want to confront it.
It's interesting too, thinking of that in terms of like the pattern of lying and whatnot. And it's like in order to just even fulfill or like to fill that void, you have to keep lying or like keep building upon that stuff. And it's interesting to keep cutting back to like the new stuff of like the France and the United States still being involved and just messing around. It really seems like.
And then it's like, how, I guess for a country, how do you like hold them accountable for something like that?
You really couldn't, because like in a sense it's like like those noble lies where it's like you can't necessarily confront people with the whole truth, because then they'll inherently like lose like some whatever sort of trust or like however esteem they hold the government or the world at large. If to shatter that, will really stop the world in its tracks.
Yeah, it's like people won't allow it,
It's easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think about
That's
that.
really
So
fucking
what does that
crazy.
mean obviously like that for me, that just spells out for in terms of like what literally happens in the plot, like that it matters even a little bit less. And it's more about thinking about the ideas of like it's more about thinking about how our governments are, like how we deny or how media will deny like the cruelty that our governments put on people just to pay them off. Or
just guilt on like an individual scale and also like a massive scale,
yeah, exactly.
It's so interesting too how it's like it really is like some sort of like subliminal sort of guilt, like when the black bicycle guy goes past him and he just starts screaming at the dude, you know what I mean? It just feels like this like like deep-seated racism that you have just from like
Yeah.
being guilty that you fucked over some kid, you know, when you were 6.
Or even like just like he just framed a kid. Like, you know,
Sorry.
there's so much shit where our government is probably like, you know, like the what the fuck was it called, the Cold War, where they went to like other countries to stop fucking communism, where they just went over there and
communism.
totally fucked over their politics and just caused like havoc in all these smaller countries. In,
You
like,
you
South
maybe
America.
prevent one thing, but you didn't really actually help. You just like
No.
left it in shambles.
Yeah,
still.
you didn't get rid of any like pain or like alleviate any like
You prevented your
cruelty.
own pain, not theirs.
Yeah, you just introduce like a different form of pain. It's just like,
And then you walk away from
and
it.
then you walk away from it. Yeah, exactly. And you give them like generations of problems without like batting
till this
an eye.
day, you know, like in
Yeah.
Venezuela and places
Mhm.
like that.
And then it's like with like Majid, like his whole life got fucked over, and then his son's life gets
Yeah.
kind of like screwed up because he like in a way like
Like his dad just killed himself.
his dad dies because of it. What do you think about the scene where like he kills himself and he said like I wanted you to be here? Do you think he's like trying to frame him by doing that?
I don't think it's necessarily framing him. It's just like maybe it's like finally just
This is what you get, kind of.
It almost felt more like closure.
yeah.
Yeah.
It felt more like this kid was like a big part of my life in ways that I didn't really have control over.
The same way that George has like continued to think about that moment for the rest of his life, probably Majid has too. You know what I mean? That interaction between them changed the whole course of the way his life was maybe potentially could have been.
Yeah.
You know, so in a sense, you know, I think it's more to hurt George than it is to
Yeah.
himself. But I don't necessarily think it's in the act of like framing. But
Nah.
then it's weird to have that whole thing be one of the videotapes. You know what I mean? What do you guys think about the scene when he's at the television station and then his boss or his colleague gets one of the tapes and then he's like, "Do you have the tape?" He's like, "Oh, I destroyed it so that."
That almost felt like he was lying.
I'm pretty sure he was lying because he's like, "You would have done the same for me." Like he said it before George can even say anything. You know?
And
what
then
I mean?
it cuts away really fast.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody said, top left cam is froze, by the way. Here, let me see. I think I can fix that real quick. Thank you, Brandon. Which one is that one?
I think it's this one right here.
It definitely shows how it has like the potential to like affect his professional life. What does he do after that? Does he go to...
I think that's when his son is missing.
That's interesting too. Oh my God. There's so much stuff where like you kind of start to look at it closely and you just ask like
But
a lot of
more we talk about it,
questions.
that's kind of getting under my skin. I'm like, oh man,
It's
I'm
creepy.
I
scared.
remember thinking about. I remember when you did the funny games one. And I remember saying this like we should like dissect this movie, and I feel the same way about this one where it's like this is one of those movies where it's like I want to like sit down and like put it on like Adobe Premiere Pro, like watch it through, and like almost like write down what they're saying, get like all, like make like a conspiracy theory board for it, you know, like make connections, go on like all the Reddits and stuff, find all the clues, and then just like piece it together, like just get it all written out, you know, just get it all written out, and then hopefully the brain can figure it out and find all the interviews about it, just like everything, you know.
I was thinking about that too on this watch, where I always had the idea that maybe it was the affair guy that was doing it, but then this time when I saw at the end when the two sons met, it almost felt like and I don't think this is true, but like it was like a conspiracy that everyone was in on it. You know what I mean?
except for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for George, yeah. That moving back just a little bit, I guess, to the dinner scene. I noticed this time. There's one character in the dinner scene that like we never see again, but he's telling a story about like some lady and her dog, right? And how her dog had the same birthday as this dude.
But it was like her husband died on that day, and that was the day he was born.
And that was his birthday. And
but it was in the 60s, right? It might have been around the time of the Algerian War, maybe? It was 1964.
Yeah, it was like
I wonder if that date means something, yeah.
and it turns into like a joke, right?
Yeah,
He like
yeah.
kind of like growls and but he says something in there where it's like he was walking in front of a van and like a car almost hit him or something.
Oh yeah.
And that's like that scene where he's walking out and he almost gets hit by the biker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, is that just a weird coincidence? You know?
He was also like walking past a van, and then a biker almost hits him.
Ah.
I like the son's room. He had Eminem.
That was cool.
In the
Yeah.
Matrix.
It looked lived in. It
What if
looked
it
very
was
lived
the
in.
what if it was the son who was doing the videotapes?
It seems like it's definitely something you have to consider.
It's
Mhm.
interesting that like the George and I can't remember Julia Binoche's character's name.
And
One of their first assumptions is that it's one of their son's friends who's maybe trying to pull a prank on them.
Oh
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
I mean, like the drawings are very childish.
Yeah, the drawings. Who?
Like who did
how
the
would they know
drawings?
about the drawings?
How would they know about like the chicken and like the way that that's where it gets spooky, right? Like the drawings are like only something that like somebody would know. Like that's like a memory, you know.
And
Like
that-
you had to be like only like 2 people know about that memory, and so it's like if a character knows about if, like let's say it is a character who knows about it. It's like how do they know about it, right? It's like that's the real
Oh.
mystery. Like how do they know what happened? How would they know what his dad was seeing? How do you know about the chicken, right? When it seems like only literally 2 people know about it. That's why he was so convinced it was that one guy, but it's like
His parents don't even know.
yeah.
The movie is really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like just realizing it now,
Yeah.
like how like it makes you paranoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, these windows are creeping me out right now.
Dude, I don't look at those windows when you're like really fucking stoned, dude.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because like in my peripheral, sometimes I think I see people like looking, and
Or
it shit
like,
freaks me out.
Elijah, just the fact that I can see your head from that window, like
Oh,
normally
God.
sometimes.
Or
Yeah,
like
that's
on
why
that-
I want to black him out. I just want to put like some fucking paper over it because like
seeing someone's eyes or some
there's
shit.
one time where we came out of the front door to like get in a car because we were going somewhere, and there was some dude who was like in my driveway with a backpack who just like awkwardly put his hands in his pocket and started walking away.
What the fuck?
I'm not joking, dude. I've never seen that dude before in my life. He had a backpack on. It was like fat, like balding hair, black hair, glasses. I don't think he watches this shit,
Bro,
but,
I'm
like,
disturbed.
but like he just put his hand in his pockets and started walking away. I'm like, yo, what's up? And he just walked away.
He didn't respond or anything?
Nah,
How long ago was that?
I was maybe like, I was dating Kate, so it was within 2021.
Okay.
Maybe like 6 months ago.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was fucked up. So I wonder how many of like my neighbors were just like, you know, went on their tippy toes just to look in here while I was in here doing something or whatever.
Then it makes you think too, like, who's watching me?
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
No, just like,
Interesting to think of it in this time of like super surveillance too.
Oh yeah.
it's like a Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Because it's also something where it's like in the videotapes, I mean, it gets progressively like more intimate, but the first stuff, it doesn't really necessarily even like reveal anything. It's just like you're being watched, and the fact that you're being watched makes you feel weird. But like the videotapes, it's not like they had caught them doing something bad or wrong. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's like that idea of knowledge and information too. It's like certain information is very like counterintuitive to like what you need to function, while other information is almost vital and necessary to understand things, I guess. It's also, I'm just thinking about certain scenes too, like the fact that they have the part where he's editing the TV show episode together, you know what I mean?
That part was pretty cool.
And I was thinking about even just what they say there, where he's like, this is where he gets a little caught up in like, you know, his own thoughts. Let's get over to when she says homosexuality.
Right.
And it's just thinking about that in the way that maybe any sort of type of media like looks for the buzzwords that will grab your attention and all that. You're not really looking for the actual thought so much as the cliff notes of it. And you think of that in terms of all of like the encompassing consciousness of it's not so much of an explanation as it is like maybe an idea, and it can be the wrong idea though.
Mhm.
You know, like what George has,
Mhm.
that can, but provides a certain sort of context to live your life. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like I was thinking about this the other day, in terms of like consciousness and like they say like focusing on all your senses will make you more aware, and you can figure out if like you're in the
Mhm.
real world or not. But it's like it's interesting how like we could all be experiencing like a different reaction from the same stimulus, you know?
Mhm.
Sometimes I remember like, or Norbert was saying the story about his coworker who's potentially getting catfished. You know what I mean?
Oh, did I tell you about that, Elijah?
At Speedy Mart?
Yeah.
No.
I'll do like a quick summary. He's on the spectrum, so he's autistic. He's been like talking to me about this girl. He describes her as his girlfriend that he met on a dating app. And the like girlfriend, I'm like, and he's been talking about her for like weeks, and like he showed me the messages and they're like, talking about it like, oh, I love you, baby, oh, honey, whatever. Right? They're talking like they've been in a relationship, like a really like disgusting ooey gooey relationship. And I'm sitting there at the register. I'm like, have you met her? And like he talked, like by the way he talks about it, he's like, I'm trying to push her. I think I'm pushing her too hard. Right? he's like, she won't submit to me. She won't submit. I'm like, yeah, man. But he's all like, I'm like, you haven't met her in real life, right? He's like, nope. He's like, she hasn't given you her number. He's like, nope. You never called her. Nope. Never heard her voice. Nope. You never seen a video of her. He's like, nope. I'm like, he's like, man, is it okay if I say something kind of fucked up? Because he's like, he gets, he's out on the spectrum and he has guns and shit.
That's
There's a lot of, I got a few stories with him already. And as soon as I say that, like, it's okay if I say something fucked up, I have to ring up a few customers. So he's just dying to hear what I have to say. It's like 5 minutes later. He's like, bro, tell me what it was. And I'm all like, dude, I think you might be getting catfished. Like, it could be a man who's messaging you. You know, he's like, he even says himself, like, a woman has never talked to me like this before. You know, like, like intimately, you know, like, and so quickly too, like no didn't earn it, right? And I'm like, I think it could be a man that you're talking to, man. I think you're getting catfish. He's like, that's certainly a possibility.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. But anyways,
Did he continue talking about her?
yeah, as the shift went on, he got more and more pissed off the more he thought about the idea, because like he kind of realized I was right. And he's like, tonight I'm getting my proof. I'm getting my proof tonight. I'm gonna make her like either meet me in person or like send me a video or call me. I'm gonna get my proof tonight.
He doesn't know where she lives?
I didn't ask about that. And then I went into work yesterday. I'm like, so, and he's like, she said her phone was broken. So he's like, so proof is gonna have to be prolonged for now.
Oh gosh.
I hope he never watches these.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the idea of like not just the information that's hitting you, but the way that you receive the information can completely change, you know, the way that you're experiencing a certain moment. I guess it's interesting to think about having almost like a literal representation with that of the way they edit together a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You can really make people say whatever you want them to say just by the way you cut it together.
Because they were gonna like eliminate like a response he had to like an actual question to show something else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was actually bringing up like maybe an idea that was too deep for, you know, television or something, you know. What do you guys think about the fact that he is just a television host? Or not just that, but like even in their house, the wall is just books. You know what I mean?
Books and like videos.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Like they're living in a library.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what it's like.
Didn't you said earlier that you wanted it to feel like he wanted it to feel like a book. Like people go into it, like go into books and they get different reactions to it.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of see, maybe that's why he's like reviewing books and stuff. I'm sure maybe there could be another reason for it, but off tops, that's what I'm thinking of.
That's a good connection though.
Come on,
I'm not.
get it, Elijah. Hit it.
I really thought it like looked That's like one thing too about like Michael Haneke movies is like they look so like they found like a real life spot or something, and they just like did something there. Like it feels like so not fake,
Yeah.
like at all. Like from like the production design to like the acting, and then there's like no music in most of his movies, and he's trying to go for like this interesting sense of realism, where like in a way it almost feels like too real. It's like
Yeah, it's just too quiet. You know.
Yeah,
Everything just feels uncomfortable, and it's like it's in a sense it's so the way you experience real life is without any cuts. But in a movie, it's like with prolonging a cut is almost just like extending tension and suspense. And even if something isn't necessarily happening, the fact that the shot is holding for maybe 3 times its normal length in a different picture, just makes it feel stylized without having actually any style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely feels like
like
a Michael
that.
Haneke movie.
I like that about Michael Haneke movies is like they feel like you can tell it's like a Michael Haneke movie, but like in a good way. It's never like I never see it and like really complain about like
it doesn't feel
way.
like
it's not like, you know, like some directors kind of make like a joke out of themselves with it, you know, like we were talking about like The French Dispatch, you know, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, all that type of stuff. It's never like I really like watch his movies and criticize like choices he's made or anything like that. That's just like the way he makes movies, but like he always makes it like effective towards the story, towards what he's trying to tell. I guess with like the whole like videos there, I was thinking about that a little bit this time, and it's like maybe like it implies that they watch like a lot of videos. They consume like a lot of media, yet they're getting like, I guess it's kind of ironic that they're getting so caught up with, even though it's a video about them, like such a simple video, you know, because like the first shot of the movie is just like 2 hours of like their front porch, you know, nothing particularly interesting happens. And it relates back to what you're saying about like how information is communicated and how like it's not even necessarily catching them in the act of something, but like just the fact that someone is like watching you, it scares people.
that part was pretty clever too. The opening, like I thought, like,
you
first
think it's
watching-
the first
you
shot?
think it's an establishing shot, yeah. Which that in
It
itself
is.
that in itself is kind of meta, you know. Like it is an establishing shot, almost like it is giving you information like that's their house, and it's giving it to you in like a very like it throws you in the story almost immediately, you know.
And yeah, beyond like the literal thing, it is establishing like the whole conceit of the movie.
Exactly,
You know what I
right,
mean?
yeah, all in that one simple establishing shot. Their house looks cool too. Like just the front doesn't even look like a fucking house. It's just like
Yeah.
this like collage of buildings.
French architecture's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't know like I guess if there's more of like a deeper sense to the design of the living room with like all the DVDs
Or-
and books, but
That's kind of how I felt about it, in the sense of like they're living in this almost like a library. And I imagine like any sort of city, but like when you talk about French architecture and all that in itself is a library of the history of like, you know, the city and what has taken place. And so like maybe even 40 years removed from whatever that happened in the Algerian stuff in the 60s and whatnot, those places where that happened are still around, you know, and people can go to them, but you have a whole different sort of context to it. Maybe even if you are of like Arab descent over there, you know, you don't even realize that like, oh, that shit happened. But it did. And I don't know.
yeah. It's implied that like Majid's parents like were killed in it,
Yeah.
and he says something kind of like derogatory about his parents.
Yeah.
I think to
They said he should
to
be
his
happy
wife.
that they're gone, you know. That there's-
yeah.
Who is it that you said the son met up with in the credits?
The other son.
George.
The other son. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes it a lot cooler.
Yeah, I guess just like that, their like library house type of thing. It just like it stimulates your mind thinking about that stuff.
Mhm.
And I don't even necessarily know if it has like a direct.
Not a one-to-one sort of meaning.
Yeah, but just with the way the movie is, you start thinking
Mhm.
about that stuff too, where it's like kind of
Mhm.
like everything
Oh.
seems so purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a thing with like the camera settings, like it's especially in dark shots where it's like really grainy.
It's actually dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was actually really I loved the shot when they all go inside like the police car to the jail. It's
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
that part
was
was
so
cool.
cool.
it
They're-
didn't
they're like-
even seem lit, you know what I mean? It
Mhm.
just looked like it was
Yeah.
They're like in a car too.
Yeah.
You see the background moving through
Mhm.
like the gridded.
and the lights are all moving on there.
Oh,
It was great.
You see Majid and then Majid's son. That was a great scene. There's still a few more things. I guess in all Michael Haneke movies, for the most part, he names like the main characters George and Anne.
Really?
Yeah, which is
Oh,
like
weird.
This time around, I was thinking about how like I wonder if he just does that as like a step in for like him and his wife, because they've been married for like 40 years or so. They've been
Mhm.
married for quite a while.
Good for
I
him.
feel like that in itself maybe is a meta sort of thing though, where like stop thinking of these people as characters, you know, they're
Mhm.
more maybe symbolic of
Mhm.
something
Mhm.
larger.
I definitely like in like funny games, they're not like characters really.
Which characters are you talking about?
Like the main characters, like George and
Are
Anne.
they named George and Anne?
They're all named George and Anne. I think even in
Amor.
Amore, in The Piano Teacher,
Oh, yeah.
I think their names are always like George and Anne Laurent or something. Maybe in the American funny games that's not their last name because it's the American one, but like I think in Code Unknown, Juliette Binoche's character is named Anne. I'd have to see Benny's video, but like I don't know, he just always names them the same. It seems like it goes with like that whole minimalistic
Jordan,
type
yeah.
of thing. We need to watch some Robert Bresson movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was thinking about that this time, where it's almost like, I guess in The Piano Teacher is almost like him going through like sex or like weird sex stuff. Hidden is almost like concealing like
It's almost like
the stages of a relationship almost.
and like criticizing, just like hiding information from like the public.
Kind. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I thought it was interesting how there's the scene where like the chicken gets killed,
That part's
and
cool.
that part is cool. Seeing like we were
How'd they do that?
They killed a chicken.
Dang.
We were talking at work like a few weeks ago about like what a chicken looks like with its head cut off, and I was like trying to like, I guess picture it, and then they do it in the movie,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's really weird. And then there's like the part two where like you realize at least one of the little kids actually had to see the chicken with its head cut
Yeah.
off, because he's in one of the shots. The other kid's like just reacting to it, so maybe he wasn't. But that's the thing that's weird about it too, is like the little kid's reacting to it as if Majid is like doing it to bother him, you know? But
Yeah,
that's not really the case.
They
Yeah.
they edited it like almost like a horror like flashback. Or
Yeah,
some shit,
you
like,
know?
to scare you.
Because then Majid walks up to him with
yeah,
the
and
fucking
they cut
cleaver.
away.
And then you realize, but like you watch the movie, then you just realize he's like just like really fucked up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's just like a good, like kind of like an evil person. There's a part though where like the camera's approaching like a young George, and it almost looks like it's like digital.
Oh
There's
yeah, I
a
kind
shot
of remember
that looks,
that.
yeah, it looks different. Yeah,
And then
just-
that's weird because that would be from the perspective of Majid. So then maybe it makes you think like what are like other shots where there's like a digital
but then
look to it.
I feel like I since it is like a dream sequence still, even though it shows George, it's like maybe this is his interpretation of Majid's point of view is through the thing, and that's why he thinks that he's the videotape guy.
That would be that's a good, because like that's like just like a subconscious thought he's gonna be having. And that would be the way he sees a nightmare, because like right now, like in real life, like his nightmare is like seeing these like digital, like these videos of someone recording him. So in his dreams, what's going to scare him? What's going to be like the look that scares him? It's going to be like this home video type of look to it.
Mm-hmm. What you got there, Norby?
I'm just trying to see if they're really, because like none of us really know who gave him the videotapes. But, like,
I think
people
that's,
say
like,
that they know. People said that they know.
Not really. If you look on Wikipedia, it actually does a pretty. The page is pretty helpful.
Oh, do they really?
They basically say like he doesn't say anything about it.
Oh, okay.
He even said he has like a quote where he basically says he's not going to say anything about it.
Oh, buddy.
But
Roger Ebert, what the fuck? A riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma.
That's his first review of it.
Oh, first review. Wait, he had a second one?
The second one's where he talks about like why it's a great movie and stuff.
Oh, there's comments.
There's also in the lunch scene between Anne and then the other guy that they might be having an affair. Or I always it's even just the things they say, like they talk and whatnot, and like he kind of rubs her, but then she's like, "Oh, we got to get back to like our lunch is almost over." Like it's like this is a regular thing. It's not like it was just this one occasion.
It makes you think like
if
they're always having lunch, and it doesn't necessarily. In a way, it almost seems like their relationship isn't. It's gone past its like passionate stage.
It's not loving.
No, it's almost like contractual.
Yeah. They're associates.
Yeah. It's so cool too, just how like. Even though it was the first time Norby saw it, like we saw it this time. And we each like picked up on a different aspect that we thought was going to be where the tapes are coming from. And the movie, like, I feel the first time I watched it, I really didn't like think about like how complex it was. Mm-hmm. And then like the more you dig into it, the more questions you just ask about it. And that's just like, that's like a great movie, you know? It didn't get a submission for the Academy Awards because...
Yeah, it was submitted by Austria, right?
Yeah.
But it's in French.
It feels like a French movie.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like very French. I always thought that was like a cool thing with Michael Haneke too, because he's like from Austria, but like this one, piano teacher... I don't know if I'd say the piano teacher as much, but like this and Amour seem like French movies. Mm-hmm. And then like The White Ribbon is like a German movie, very like about like the history of like Austria and stuff like that.
What's it saying in there, Norby?
Okay, so this guy says, "Okay, I think I figured out Ebert's shooting gun based on POV." This is on the comment of one of the Ebert reviews, as well as an all-encompassing solution to the mystery until you all put a dozen holes through it. The POV in the shot at about 20-minute mark before the boy with blood memory has two characteristics. It is a still shot, implying that... Wait. The POV in the shot... implying that it is the objective perspective from someone filming, and two, it is from a second-story level at the street leading right up to George's front door. Therefore, Ebert is implying that the person making the tapes was taping from the second floor of George's house, i.e., how do you say it? Perrier. Additionally, even if it is a subjective POV shot, it is still coming from a member of George's household and aimed directly at the spot from which the opening frames of the movie are being filmed. In other words, Pierrot is looking from his bedroom window at the spot from where they are being filmed and knows where the camera is before his parents tell him of the tapes.
So does that mean the son knows where the son knows?
The son's in on it?
Well, he
knows.
He continues. However, unlike Ebert, I'm not convinced that POV is a solution, because anyone could have been looking from out of that window out of pure fear, not necessarily knowledge. They know they're being filmed from that general direction, and if Ebert means the POV of the person being seeing the bleeding boy, it seems to be the POV of someone the height of age of 6. So it had to be George's POV from memory and no one else.
What
no, it actually continues a lot. Jesus, I didn't realize this. This guy wrote this really like hard to read. This is making no sense.
I guess there's like the videotapes are like very omniscient. At least in regards to like George's life.
Mm-hmm.
So that
You know what is crazy? Is that both of their sons are kind of like friends.
yeah, they interact like they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part also too that kind of recontextualizes everything too, if they're familiar with each other.
Like, how do they know each other?
Yeah.
Why are they cool with each other?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause they both seem like pretty smart too.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're unaware of like what this relationship is. And this is weird too because like his dad is dead.
Yeah.
This guy also said Haneke obviously sent the tapes. It's his way of being slyly Brechtian and self-reflexive, just like he's sending little tapes out to Pierre. He's sending one big tape out to France, just like he's trying to interact with the lives of the actors in the film. He's trying to interact with the lives of blah, 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 blah. And this guy said basically what you said, Elijah. It is a movie of historical analogy with the main character representing France, feeling the guilt of mistreatment of the Algerians, represented by Majid. Their sons recognize the tragedy of history and rejects the parents. Like the director says, it is a history that can apply to most countries. While the mystery of the tapes can be played with, it is a theatrical device of exposing the feeling of guilt.
Oh, so it's like a MacGuffin?
Yeah, basically.
Anything else on Cachet?
It'd be a good commentary movie.
Yeah, that's one where it's like not just a commentary. I'd want to like dissect the fuck out of it.
An analysis.
Yeah.
I'll look on YouTube to see if there's a good analysis video of it, just to see what someone has to say.
It's definitely a movie warranting
It needs
one.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys liked it. I really enjoyed talking with you guys about it.
That was fun.
Glad I got to revisit it too. Just appreciate it a lot more.
Mm-hmm. Ratings?
I think so. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
9 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it like a 40 out of like 49.
I give it like a 9.2 out of 10.
9.2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Haneke.
I forget what I rated Funny. I hope I rated Funny Games like pretty high as well. I remember liking the fuck out of it, but
Or 40 out of 45. Sorry.
40 out of 45. There we go. All right.
Alright.
So what to watch next?
Let me. If we don't do the next one in exactly 2 weeks, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
It might be a bit busy throughout February, but
Here we go. So next 57, 50, 59. Okay.
have you guys heard about Drive My Car?
No.
Yeah, I want to check it out.
I don't know where to find it.
Yeah, that's what I had an issue with. Didn't seem to be out anywhere.
Quo Vadis.
Oh,
You guys want to watch that? All 2 hours and 51 minutes.
what is that about?
It's like the "Where are you going" thing. from
Oh, yeah,
Clarence's
that's why that
past,
sounds familiar. Yeah, okay. Cool about these. No way. Oh, damn it. It's always unavailable. Brandon said, "Y'all seen Baby Driver?" Yeah, yeah, I've seen Baby
I
Driver.
haven't. I'll check it out. At some
Yeah,
point.
it's a fun movie.
Need to get more into
Pretty,
Edgar
pretty,
Wright.
pretty good soundtrack too.
Okay.
You've already seen like what? You've seen it.
I've seen Shaun of the Dead and
Scott Pilgrim?
Scott Pilgrim, and Last Night in Soho.
Oh yeah, that one doesn't count.
That one doesn't count.
Cornell would.
Yeah, Elwood really didn't like it.
He was in,
He
we
was-
were sitting in a Denny's and he would not stop shitting.
Are you still doing your animated thing,
Yeah,
Norby?
I already
Okay.
know what I want to do.
Alright.
I guess I know what I want to do, but I'm looking for something that can maybe convince me not to do it. But I think I'm gonna do it.
Okay. The next one I'm gonna pick for the sake of buying myself a little bit of time, but it's still gonna be cool. It's gonna be nice.
Okay.
Do you want to go first, Norby, or?
Whoever wants to go most.
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, so hopefully we can do it in 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
But in case we can't, it'll work out a little bit with my schedule. I'm in a French cinema class right now, as I've told you guys, and we're gonna be watching some Robert Bresson movies in about 2 weeks. So I guess here I want to figure out which one we should watch. Essentially,
Okay.
we're gonna be watching A Man Escaped and Hasard Balthazar.
You know what they're about?
So A Man Escaped is about a man that escapes, and
Okay.
Hasard.
It's about a guy called
Huh?
It's about a guy called Omana Barsar. What the fuck?
I can't pronounce it.
Oh.
It's about a donkey.
Oh fuck!
I would just
It's
say
about a donkey.
Balthazar. It's
Balthazar.
The name in English translates to Balthazar at random.
That's fucking badass.
I've seen that one before. I haven't seen A Man Escaped.
okay.
I have the DVD for both of them, but do you
Did
guys
you-
have a preference over?
Did you like the donkey one?
I don't think I appreciated a whole lot the first time, but
Okay,
there's
gotcha.
there's like a lot to dissect there, just with like
And the man who escapes, what's he escaping from?
I think like a
Yeah,
prison.
he's in prison.
Oh,
He's-
okay,
he's-
cool.
I would like to talk about the donkey one again, but I've heard A Man Escaped is pretty a lot
It's
of
like
people.
better.
Well, they say both of them are kind of like up there with like, I guess, Balthazar is like Michael Haneke's like one of his favorite movies.
Oh, okay.
So, do you guys have any preference just before?
Not
I
really.
pick?
They both seem like equally interesting.
I guess let's do Balthazar.
Balthazar. Okay.
Because I feel like I'm been itching to watch Man Escaped. I'll eventually get to that one, but maybe Balthazar might take me longer to get
Really?
to.
Okay.
so.
Okay. Okay. Let's watch. Hasard.
Oh, boy, how do I spell that?
Balthazar. It's AU.
All right.
Then it's like Hasard. HAS.
Hazard.
All right, go from the beginning, please.
Okay. AU.
A-U.
HAS.
H-A-S.
This is its second word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. You're fucking French.
HASARD. See, this is where it's weird with like French,
And
like,
Balthazar.
and then Balthazar. Yeah.
Balthazar. There we go.
It's gonna be Ash trying to pronounce the name of this movie. Just call it the donkey movie.
You just call it the donkey movie. Or just call it Balthazar at random.
Balthazar. Yeah.
That sounds badass.
English. Yeah, that is fucking cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's like a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, and we just need to get into Robert Bresson,
Mhm.
interesting
Yeah.
filmmaker. So we're gonna be watching that in about a week or two, and
Okay, cool.
I want to talk to you guys about it too.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it'll be cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Fuck yeah.
Sweet.
Where did I? Oh shit, I already lost it. Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I can go. Yeah.
Hey, go ahead.
So it's February 2022.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a very fun month. On 2/22/22.
Yep.
That's when Donda 2 is supposed to be coming out. But before Donda 2 comes out,
I already know.
there's a documentary coming out. It's called Genius, a Kanye trilogy. We don't have you don't have to watch all. There's going to be 3 parts. You just,
Oh, shit, okay,
for
yeah.
the podcast, for the sake of concising time, just have to watch part 1, which is just following, I guess, like 1998 to like 2007. That is when he
Okay.
first started.
Mhm.
This Thursday it's gonna be in theaters, but
Oh shit! Wow.
it comes out on Netflix
Netflix.
and streaming next week on the 16th.
Oh
Okay.
fuck yeah!
Okay.
How do you spell it again?
Jeen-yuhs. So JEENYUHS.
Oh, God.
Genius! Oh my god.
Will it be in theaters for a long time or like?
I
a
don't know if
limited-
it's gonna be in theaters beyond this Thursday.
Okay.
So if you guys are free, I'm gonna go. But
Okay.
if not, like I said, it'll be on Netflix.
Brandon said, 22222 is gonna be lit.
Down to 2.
Like Susan,
from
my
work?
coworker. Yeah,
I think so. I think she's
her
ringing me up
her
before.
husband died on February 22nd, so she's like kind of
Oh.
not looking forward to 22222.
Maybe this would be a good 222 for her because it's also supposed to be some astrological thing.
She's looking forward to
happening.
that. Yeah, she talks about astrology and shit once in a while.
Yeah, there's something happening like
Yeah.
on 2222.
Yeah,
that's
that's
it's
five
gonna
twos.
like it's gonna it's the our power is gonna activate on that day. You know.
Oh boy, that'll be cool.
I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. All right, then for the next animated movie, because I'm continuing that. I'm kind of shifting around the list a little bit, because I kind of want to. I don't want to get through all the animated movies. Like, there's more than 10 on here, and then I want to do PTA and then go back to like normal fucking movies I haven't seen before. So for this next one, I want to do Watership Down.
Oh,
Down?
nice.
I really
Nice.
want to do Watership Down because I saw it for the first time when I was like 15, and I watched it like a lot of times back then. But I've seen so many more in movies now, and I want to see how it holds up because I remember the animation's a bit like dated, but like a lot of people have an interesting reaction to it.
Okay.
So I really want to see it again.
That's from the guy who did the Plague Dogs.
It is, yeah, same
Nice.
same guy.
Okay, that'll be fun.
I think it should be cool. And you gave me the criterion.
Yeah,
for it,
it'd
too,
be
and I haven't-
cool if
I-
we could
it'd be-
watch the
It'd be me a
DVD
good
together.
reason to
Yeah.
like pop it in the.
That
Xbox.
sounds cool.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. Okay. So Balthazar at random, genius.
What a weird. This is,
Watership.
this is definitely one of the more like.
This is a screen tongue episode if
Yeah,
there ever
this
was
is like
one.
this is like a very strange platter, This is like you put like. This is like you put like I don't know, orange chicken, like a tuna sandwich, and like
Spaghetti.
spaghetti or something weird than that even.
Horchata.
Horchata, yeah, like the same.
It's like a baguette with chicken and tea.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Sweet. All right. It is 12:50. That was episode what is it? 26 of Screen Tongue. 26 of these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it 27? Or what was the bad episode? 24.
That was 24.
Oh, okay.
24. So 24 is the fucked up one. Then we fucked up again. We did 24.5. We did like a jackass thing. We needed 24.75 or something like that. And then if we fuck up that one again, then like a 24.
We got a
point,
new
like,
3-digit decimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had the angel one.
The angel one, yeah. He said, Watership Down, genius, and it's.
Well,
I would. How do you?
how would you say it?
Let me see. Has. Hasard Balthazar. Just look up like Balthazar donkey movie. I'll try to find a good poster for it and put it. Follow the Backcountry Instagram. I post like all the movies on there too. But yeah, that was it. That was a good discussion. Very fun. This episode was 3 hours and 17 minutes long.
Nice.
Had a fair amount of
Thank you.
Hazard Balthazar. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You got it. Yeah, that's it.
Hazard
That's
Balthazar.
exactly it. You got it, Brandon.
You got genius.
He got genius on there.
Genius.
And I know I said just for the podcast you have to watch episode 1, but feel free to watch 2 and 3.
I was gonna ask you if you wanted to do like episode 2 and 3 for 28 and 29 before we got to PTA.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, but like then you'd be like trapped.
I'd be stuck. The only issue is that they're not all the same length. So like part 1 is like the longest. I think it's like close to 3 hours.
Then you could like double them up for like one episode if you
let
wanted
me
to do
see.
that.
I think in total it's like 4.5 or 5 hours to complete thing.
So yeah, basically like the first one is like the most feature length one, and the other two are like a feature combined.
Yeah, because like the first one kind of like documents most of the journey up until when he become, kind of made it.
Mhm.
And then part 2 takes place I'm trying to find like the or it's 4.5 hours, but I'm trying to find like the episodes to see how long they are, but I guess maybe when it comes out it will. But then part 2 takes place after, I think I know that there's like a big time gap between like 2008 to like 2016 where they stopped working on the documentary, but then when he went to the hospital they like reconnected and they started doing the documentary again. So yeah, I we'll see how it is.
For sure,
But
yeah.
the first one, it should be interesting just to see.
Yeah.
Because he's the same way back then than he is now.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
That's gonna be interesting. I'm excited.
All right. So any last words you want to say before I close it out?
Fun.
Yeah, stay tuned for
Fun.
Squint.
Squint. Yeah, we're gonna be
Squint.
editing that tomorrow. I'm looking
Squint on
for
the
that.
way.
Squint.
Squint sooner.
Squint
Squint nower.
Fuck yeah. All right. Y'all take it easy. Brandon, catch you later. For anybody
See ya,
else who's
Brandon.
watching, y'all take it easy.
Peace out, film fans.
This is bad country.